Keller Williams real quick. So Keller Williams, why Keller Williams? We can go with Remax, we can go with Century 21, we can go with Berkshire Hathaway. There's so many different companies we can go with. Why Keller Williams? Okay. So I'm just going to show you a couple things about Keller Williams and why I'm here. Just if you want to know any history of me, I was with Century 21 when I started, which is where my mom started many, many moons ago. Okay. Not too many. She's young. Okay. And then when I was in college, I started working for my mom, doing the paperwork, the transactions. I started at Century 21, got my real estate license and started working. So to understand, we were Century 21. Okay. Then, and we know exactly how that brokerage operates and everything. Then we went to Remax. And what is Remax? Remax is a totally different operation. It's a totally different thing. It's desk fees. There's all different ways and strategies on how brokers do it, depending on the brokerage, right? But we were under the platform of Remax, and now we're in Keller Williams. And I can tell you that our income tripled, to say the least, with the move to Keller Williams. And there's reasons behind it, okay? Because Gary Keller is fantastic, number one, right? And we're led by a very smart, great man. It's not just all him, but he made a book called MREA. You've never heard of it. It's Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Okay. It's a fantastic book. He's done Millionaire Real Estate Investor. He's put some of the best people in the best places, and he's offered us a lot. So we have a huge network of people that work here. It's actually grown when we were in Keller Williams was nothing when we started, just so you know. Not here. I'm saying when we started real estate, there wasn't really Keller Williams. It was like in Texas, and not very many places. We were like, Keller Williams, who's that? Very rapidly, because of profit share and opening offices and all of that, like they just blew up. Okay. So when we moved to Georgia from Florida, it was like, what company should I join? And so my mom wasn't here. She was still running our Florida office. Like, what company should we join? So I had to figure it out because I didn't know a soul here. You realize that. And this was just in 2018. I moved to Georgia. I literally knew my friend Jana, and that was it. Right. And her friend Kelly, and they were in Dahlonega, Lumpkin County. And I moved to Forsyth because I thought it was more populated, probably more opportunity than just Lumpkin. Right. So I'm driving around, and every sign I see is Keller Williams. And I'm like, well, shoot, nobody knows me. So at least they'll know the company. Because around here, everybody knew the company, right? And if you want to be a listing agent, if you have any interest in that, it's extremely important the company you work for. If you have a small brokerage, nobody wants to list with you. Because if they could pay the same money and list with a name that's well known, right? So having that behind you when you don't know a soul was super powerful. But it's like, well, why did everybody like Keller Williams here, right? And so when we got involved with Keller Williams, we started realizing, holy crap, the training is like no other company. Okay. We have some of the best training here that you're ever going to find. Okay. And Keller Williams was founded on as a training company, right? They were the company that came in, and a lot of new agents worked for Keller Williams. Not very many like experienced agents or seasoned agents that we thought, right? Because we didn't know any better, right, at the moment. And so we thought, oh, that's that training company. They'll go there and then they'll move to Remax later because that's where all the experienced agents go, is Remax, right? Because it's a flat fee. Well, Keller Williams was super smart. Keller Williams is fantastic because they're a training company. They're great for newer agents, but they're also have a cap, right? In the companies that we're affiliated with. And so if you're a millionaire real estate agent, literally, if you make $1 million in real estate, you're still only paying Keller Williams your cap, up to your cap. That's a huge value asset for the agent. What does this have to do with the client? We have a network. He's grown because of this strategy and then profit share. Okay. He has grown this company all over the country, and we have some of the most agents out there that are well-trained, know how to do the business, and have a fantastic culture because we have a win-win culture. You know, if you work for Keller Williams, we want people who really understand the business and that understand and are well-trained so that you're out representing the company well. Because if you don't know what you're doing, that's a problem, right? So the majority of the agents out there are gonna be well-trained because our training system is uniform, it's a system. Okay, so we have new agent orientation, we have contract training, we have all of these different operations. We have a calendar of events that you guys can join in any single time, anytime, every month of different things. We have an ALC. Do you guys know what the ALC is? It's the Agent Leadership Committee. I was on the ALC for a couple of years. I got off so I could have more time to build my team and grow the team and help you guys. Eventually I can get back on. Well, you have to be in the top 20% in the office in order to be in the ALC. The ALC is your board of committee, basically your board. Okay, so it's agents in the office. So when things are voted on, like what's going to change in the office, and every Keller Williams has this, they have to. It's all voted on by us, for us, by us. So it's things that'll benefit us, not just the broker. Sure.
Being on the team, do our sales goals count towards ourselves so we can be on the ALC? Or does that go to the team and then?
Yeah, you can be on the LLC. Tawny is on, Mickey Himes' team,
Alright,
and she's on the ALC.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know if she's on this year. Do you know if she was on when I was on? So she was on last year, but you can definitely be. All of your numbers, absolutely. You gotta be top 20% of the office. And if you are top 20%, you can have that opportunity to be on, yeah.
Our sales independently of the office, or they all got one
Yeah.
to our team?
So
There are-
because,
You do those generated to your team.
it goes under the team, but under you, under the team.
Okay,
So Keller Williams, this is right here, we're looking at Florida. Okay, this is the number of units in the Tri-County area. So Kathy, this is Broward County, Palm Beach County, and Miami-Dade County. Okay, and we are at 6.6% of the total number sold and listed for single-family residents, which we are by far. And you'll notice here, they say Compass, Caldwell, Remax. Compass is the next one under us. Then Caldwell, Remax, United. So we are by far, guys, yeah. So we are by far the best in the industry in South Florida, in our market, okay? And then in our area in Atlanta, we are by far, they won't name them, okay? But we are by far 17.9% to 5.9 is the next broker that even comes close to us. We're the number one in single family residents, with more market share than 3 companies combined. So we have, and so me driving around the neighborhoods and seeing all the Keller Williams signs, it's for real. Like 3 times than 3 companies combined, we have market share. So why would you want to list or sell your house with Keller Williams? Why wouldn't you? We take up the market. Okay. And then, we're number one in unit sales of detached residents, more market share than the next 3 companies. This is just another slide, that shows it in Atlanta. And then, we also are the number one unit sales and more market share on the next 3 companies combined with, condos and townhouses. This one is in town, like this is inside the perimeter. And then this is, the whole metro Atlanta area. So we really have the market share all over this whole area.
And all over South Florida.
And all over South Florida. Okay, so it's really grown, it's really evolved. And the reason it has is, like I said, because technology now, so we used to be known as the training company. Now we're known as the technology company. And that's because of Command. Okay, no other company has a system like Command. Okay, Command is our database, it's our CRM, which means it holds all of our contacts. It has auto drip systems. People pay, you know, like we pay right now for our others database, which is Sync. Okay, we pay outside. Command is very much like Sync. Okay, where it offers a website, it offers like where you can send out Facebook ads, and you can do Instagram, and you can do all these things through Command. It has designs, so you kind of like a Canva, so you can pop in designs. Like they're trying to house everything in one. And the best part about Command is we own it. So like Zillow owns Boomtown, right? Like we aren't gonna lose our business to Boomtown because Keller Williams owns it. Okay, so that's a huge deal. And listen to this, because we own the industry in both of our markets, because we own those industries. If the MLS goes away, which very likely could happen, who owns the majority of the listings? Because we advertise our listings through Command. So the listing, we already have KWLS. I don't know that you guys realize because we handle a lot of that for you. When we input a listing and Annie wants to go make a change to the listing, or mom, right? Then what happens is KWLS holds all of our listings. So we will be able to have our own MLS through Keller Williams, and we have the majority of the market by 3 times other companies.
Hence KWLS listing service.
That's KWLS, which is through Command.
So every time you
Which is-
listing, you go to KWLS before going to the FMLS.
Yeah, you input it in FMLS and it goes into KWLS. But what'll happen is the system, it's literally, if the MLS goes away, Gary Keller's a future seer, which is why we're with this company. And he has the biggest database of them all to be able to have basically an MLS through KW. And I don't know if you guys realize this, and I didn't until I was on the pivot call, our pivot call in the mornings. Other countries don't even have MLSs. They don't have MLSs. So they can list their house non-exclusive with like 6 different agents, and whoever sells it first wins. So,
And they don't use.
yeah. So it's very interesting how the market could evolve and how they're doing business in other countries. So knowing that, because we are international, there's Keller Williams all over. You guys realize that, right? In many different countries. Because of that, that platform, it's a good place to be in an evolving market. Okay, so if you're gonna be with a brokerage, it's a very smart place to be. EXP and a couple of the other brokerages, they try to have a very similar system to what Keller Williams has, but they have no what we call brick or mortar. But they do a similar profit share. But they still are way low as far as you can see. They're only at 3, we're double them in market share. Right? So they haven't, even though their fees might be a little bit different, we actually have the office space, which is going to be more important than ever. Because this isn't a COVID market, it can be quick order taking. Okay? But in this market, there's going to be more slowed down responses and needing to sit and talk to our clients and consult. Okay? So we really, going into that, that's an intro on like an overview. Is there any questions about Keller Williams or who we are? I could go into so much more. The other thing is with Keller Williams, we have like, I don't know if you realize this, but we have 2 times a year a big conference. Okay, Mom and I and Angel are getting ready to go to Mega Agent Camp. Okay, we put on through the team, which we'll talk about this later, we put on a couple of competitions and stuff where you can earn rights to get tickets, like where we pay for your tickets. It's like $900. Anybody can go to any one of these events, plus your travel, plus, your hotels and your food and stuff. I highly recommend this. I highly recommend you to go to the conferences. Now, family reunion, especially if you're new to the industry, to the Keller Williams, family reunion is a little bit, it's more spread out. It's a week long and it's in different rooms you pick. It's still awesome. It's fantastic. Because I'm a team leader, it's the Mega Agent Camp is like more, it's in like 3 days. You're in and out and they like fire hydrant you. And it's all in one big room and it's like a lot. So, and it's in Austin, and then family reunions in Vegas this year coming. Which will be it's not this year, coming, yeah, February.
25.
Yeah, so, but Mega Agent Camp's always in August, family reunions always in February. Okay, and I highly recommend, just start thinking about going to family reunion, And our admin, we're gonna also have it where you guys can win ways to get there. Go to family reunion where the team will pick your ticket, pay for your ticket, okay? But CEO Summit is one thing that we go to. These are some of the top, they're not always realtors, okay, but CEO Summit is sometimes it's like top people in the industry, leaders, and they breathe down. So if you own a company, like if you're a CEO of like your team or whatever, this is extra money to go to. But mom and I go every year because we get leadership type ideas, right? To be the best leaders that we can be to lead the team. But just saying, so Gary Keller brings in some of the top leaders and business owners in the whole country. Sometimes it's authors, sometimes it's all different things. And we have a 4-hour like, oh my gosh, he'll bring in a wellness because taking care of your body and yourself is super important. He'll have like a financial person usually, and then other just business leaders, and he talks, right, on how he's running the company and how he's grown to grow, because our goal aligns with Keller Williams' goal, which is Keller Williams said, we're not gonna limit it to 6 offices, 7 offices. And if the office wants to do so much and have 1,000 trillion agents, they can. Well, same thing here. Like our umbrella and the way that our model is structured is you can grow and do as much business as you want under the umbrella of the team. Same concept as Gary Keller, which we learn from the way he has run his business, which is the way we run ours, because I think he's fantastic. Okay. But this is just to show you, they have also, you guys realize that on as a headquarters, we have KWRI, okay? You guys have access to any kind of training you could want on the platform, right? So you can go to recorded if you want to know, how should I do this? How should I do that? There's recordings from 6 years ago that you can go and listen sometimes to snippets of family reunions, snippets of like mega camp, or just podcasts that they offer. Like you can learn anything you want to learn with this company. If you don't learn it, it's because you didn't apply yourself.
They have the whole university.
That's what I'm saying. It's Keller Williams
Yes.
University. Okay, like you can literally learn, covers everything. And then Scott Leroy's the technology guy that helps set us up, that we have for like your websites and all of the things, and make sure that your profile's up and running and that your app, because we have a Keller Williams app, right? Because when Zillow, right, Zillow and all these people, they know those things, but we're the biggest in the industry. Why aren't we sharing our app with people? Because when you give your app, it saves it within your platform and it keeps them off the Zillow website, and where the buyer's agent's gonna call them and try to get them. So the minute that they commit to working with you, they should not be using anything else except for either your Sync app, because we own that, or or if you're in Florida or here, it should be your Keller Williams app. That's it. That's it. And it has not just KWL, it doesn't just have our listings, it has the whole MLS's listings.
The whole country.
Yeah, so if you're searching FMLS, but you're not searching GAMLS, okay, you're not getting everything. But if you go to Zillow, you are, right? Well, that's the same as our Keller Williams app, because it brings in all the platforms.
Oh, and then they could tell us when we saw a house within a second what it was listed for.
Yep, on our app, all over the country. Okay? All right, so now let's go, our core beliefs, and I'm just gonna touch on this. Everybody, I keep this, it looks a mess because this is in my binder. I look at this every day, just like I look at my GPS and my 411. Okay? So I really stand by this. I believe in this, and we're gonna talk a little bit about who we are as a team. Okay? Our belief is people are divinely put in front of us so that we can make a difference in the lives of others with some. And listen, when I'm talking to this class, understand it's being recorded, and agents that may not have know us as well as you guys know us, okay, are gonna listen to this. So I'm gonna go over all the things. You might be like, I know this like the back of my hand, but just understand that it's because we're gonna be sharing this video with people, okay? So people are divinely put in front of us so that we can make a difference in the lives of others with some of their most important treasures, their home and their investments, and we're grateful. So seriously, when I started this business, when my mom started this business, it was all about helping people and helping families. And that's what we're still about till today. I whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, I mean, we do believe in God, right? And we believe that people purposely are put in front of us because they need help. Okay, and they might not even know they need help yet sometimes, but they need help. And so people aren't, you don't run into the person at the grocery store that you don't even know what they're going through or what they've gone through or what experiences they've had. Somebody's there, whether it might not always be real estate, but maybe it's a life experience that you've had, right? My daughter broke her back in softball, and sometimes people are put in front of me so that I can help those parents through something like that because I've been through it, right? But sometimes it is real estate related, you guys. Sometimes they're there because, God really wants you to help them. And he wants them to not be taken advantage of and to have somebody who really cares about their needs and who they are and what they are. And that's who we stand for. That's what we stand for, that we need to help as many people as we can because we're really good at what we do. We're really good, you guys. We're really good. We're one of the best in the area. Like, we're good. So, our core values and how we come up with our core values is like, this is who you are. If you're on this team, it's because through the interview process, we might not have asked you, hey, do you live by the Get by Giving? But we've kind of talked to you about your personality, and we've talked to you and asked you questions about who you are, and you fit our core values. So now it's just a matter of understanding that this is our team values. And if I can't align with them, then I'm not a good fit for this team, right? But if I can, then this is the team for me. So to live by the Get by Giving philosophy, and you'll see later, I do things for free all the time for clients. We give away a lot of stuff, including knowledge, right? Sometimes we give away, we help people do things that I'm not getting paid for, but I just help people, right?
There's people.
Yeah, I mean, we just get by giving, right? Like, there's a million things I could say. I mean, people are struggling with their mortgage. They need to call their insurance. How do they handle this? We need a vendor for this. My sink is leaking. What do I do? I mean, I field calls from clients because I want to be that resource for them, right? And it's not just clients that are buying right now. It's people that I sold them 10 years ago a house. And I'm still in connection with them and they need something, right? So they feel that Get by Giving, listen, if somebody needs help with something, listen. Or if they listed their house for sale. And then they change their mind, they decide they're not gonna sell, they're gonna stay put. We're not gonna charge them a cancellation fee, we're gonna eat the cost. Right? Most all the time, because we're gonna just ask them to consider us when they know somebody else who wants to buy, sell, or invest. Because we're about the Get by Giving philosophy, right? So some of our biggest decisions are made because of who we are. And the whole picture is more important to us than just one transaction. Okay? Make our clients' number one goal our number one goal. You cannot properly assist someone unless you know what they're trying to get. And sometimes they don't know. And so we have to, most of the time they don't know. They just know they want something different, but they don't really know. So that's where we come in. Sometimes we're psychologists, all these things. But making your client's number one goal your number one goal, really listening to them and understanding what is it that they want? What is it that they need? And helping them. Live up to our standards despite temptations to lower them, okay? There's a million times, more in Florida than Georgia, I would say, that people ask you to go into a gray area. And you really want to close this deal. But it's a gray area. Meaning it's not legal. No, I'm sorry. We can help you in a good way, right? We can help you figure out how to make it so you can and what you need to do so you can. But we're not going to tell them to fudge this or fake that or do things that aren't right? So living up to our standards despite temptations to lower them. The other thing is we really want to do something, but we want to get paid for, like we want to. I hate losing the money on those photos I just sold, but I want to live up to my standards, right? I believe that these people were put in front of me for a reason. Maybe it's not to sell their house. Maybe grandma's going to need someone. They're going to need to sell grandma's house one day, but we want to be their realtor for life and their advisor for life. It's not just about this one transaction. That's who we are as a team, our core value. Being willing to work towards a common good. As a team, we have a goal. We make our goal after our agents make theirs. We make sure our goal is big enough to fit your goal in it. but we expect that our agents hit their goals. So that because now we do things to make those leads come in at that level, to make those things happen at that level. So we expect our agents to do so, right? Be willing to work towards a common good. Okay, we want to help X amount of families for the year, right? We have it on our board, we look at that, and so you have to be willing to work towards that common good. And our goal of the team is MREA. We want to be millionaire, we want to, do 1 million. That's our goal. Are you doing your part, right? So that's the common good. And then do what we say we will do, sometimes more, just never less. And this comes up in my brain a lot. If I tell you I'm gonna call you at 11 o'clock tomorrow, I'm gonna call you at 11 o'clock tomorrow. I'll lose sleep if I forget to call them at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Because we always do what we say we will, sometimes more, just never less. And that's our core value. So being a part of this team, that's some of the things we stand for, okay? So you can be assured of that. Now, we're gonna go over, the training and what that's gonna look like, what the series is gonna look like, okay? Today, we're really doing the buyer's brokerage agreement game plan. We're doing on tomorrow's, we're doing sealing the deal with a one-step strategy session, okay? Then we're gonna go over on Friday, a step-by-step success. So basically, the person wants to buy. On tomorrow's objective, just so you understand, we're gonna go through the buyer's guide and we're gonna go through the buyer's brokerage presentation as if they're an easy, like a slam dunk. It's somebody that or it's somebody that says, yeah, I wanna buy a house, can you help me? They're not giving 1,500 objections, they just wanna help. So tomorrow's is about the easy buyer's brokerage presentation, but things that still need to be addressed, gone over, and all of these things. So they're not gonna have a whole lot of objections, they're gonna be on board, they're not gonna be super hard. But then Fridays is gonna be a little bit harder, a step-by-step success, advanced buyer brokerage handling and objection handling. So it's an advanced person, somebody that you never met before. And she set the appointment, or ISA set the appointment for them to come in, and you're meeting them for the first time. But they're coming in with questions. And they really don't think it's a good market. I'm giving you an example. They don't think it's a good market. They don't think they should buy today. They think they should wait until rates come down. They think they should do this and that. And Maya's setting the appointment, or you're setting the appointment, depending on where you meet them. And you're saying, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I understand and I hear what you're saying. However, I really think that you should hear what I have to say because of blah, and we're going to go over what that looks like, okay? But that's a two-step, and they're just agreeing to meet with you, but kind of like this, with their arms folded. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll meet with you, but I'm not sure. So that's going to be a hard one, right? Or they don't think they're ready yet, right? So it's going to be harder. So we're going to go over that on Friday, Friday. And then the art of negotiation, mastering compensation and deals. So we're not going to dive deep into negotiating your compensation. Keep wanting to say commission. We can't say commission. That's an art thing. So compensation with negotiating your compensation and deals. We're not going to go dive deep into it on that one class because we're going to dive super deep into commission objections, compensation objections, on a class all within itself. And then appointment ace, uncovering motivation and crafting the perfect hook. So basically how we're hooking them to set the appointment. Okay, we're gonna have a whole class to cover that. And then open house hero, winning tactics for maximum impact. Okay, we want maximum impact at our open houses. I want you guys converting all the leads at the open houses. I want you getting people to the open houses. Like all of those things and understanding what we as a team do to drive people to our open houses is huge, okay? Mastering class, the master class, where we're gonna put it all together. We're gonna integrate strategies and unstoppable success, okay? And then Thursday, the 22nd of August, we're gonna come back from Mega Camp and we're gonna bring you back all of our biggest ahas. So we'll just say, okay, this is what we got, this is what we got, this is what we got, here's where we are. And we're gonna lay it all out, the most important things we bring back. So you guys don't feel like you're missing anything, okay? All classes will be from 1 to 4. No phones on during the class. Role play will start after, role playing in the mornings again, will start after July 22nd's class. okay? Not before, because we're gonna role play what we're doing and learning. And then the classes are recorded. And this is a teaching class and not very interactive. However, questions will be at the end of sections and at the end, okay? All right. So do you guys, are you good right now? Can we continue? Do you
Oh,
need a
yeah.
break? All right,
We've been here 20 minutes.
sounds good. All right, so let's go over Cintron Property Group and some of our benefits. So we've talked about Keller Williams as a whole. We've talked about the advantages of Keller Williams, okay? Not just for agents, but it starts with agents because it's so beneficial for agents, that benefit rolls over to the client. Understand, because we have a huge network. Okay, and where the network is the net worth. Your network is your net worth, right? So we have agents within the system that can refer clients to other people because they know you fall under the Keller Williams core values. And that because you live by the win-win, right? And because you live by the same core values as they do, so they are very comfortable referring through the Keller Williams system. So you want to make sure as an agent that your profiles on your command and everything are up to date and you're open and ready for referrals. So people can find you and send you referrals. And yes, your production and everything shows up on there. So you want to have that done. You want to make sure that yeah. Okay, so some of the benefits with our team, let's go into here. This is our vendor list, okay? I don't print this out and give it to you. Our admins have a copy or will have a copy, okay? But I want you to understand that these are people that we have worked with and we work with, okay, on a continual basis, that are people that we feel really comfortable referring our friends and family to. Why? Because we've done business with them before and they do a pretty good job at doing business. Now, if there's someone on here, like, first of all, home warranties, honestly, they all suck, right? So while I say we're comfortable referring them, you know, a home warranty is a home warranty. But if your client wants it, if they don't have a reserve, they have no money, home warranties are good for them. Because it's a $50 copay, $100 copay, it's fantastic. If they have thousands of dollars in the bank and they're pretty well off, don't waste their money on a home warranty. It's a waste of money and time. They're just gonna be frustrated that they take some 15 years to get their air conditioner fixed. But if they have no money, they need something's better than nothing, they need their air conditioner fixed, right? So just understanding our values. Now, our contractor, Russ, is one of our handymans here locally. We have one of these for Florida as well. We have Guillermo on there for contractors. We have a Florida and a Georgia vendor list. So just understand with inspections, okay? You guys, we're so used to using Addie's home inspectors. These other inspectors are awesome inspectors as well that we've used. So don't always just go to Addie's or think Addie's, although Addie's is one of our favorites. In Florida, we have these two. We have, you know, we're so used to using REI, which is real estate inspectors. We have another guy that goes there, but we make sure the reports are good and that these people are made on our list because of one of two things. Either people we know have used them and they don't call us back a year later or you know, a week later and say, oh my gosh, the sink is leaking and the inspector didn't find it. Then it makes you look really bad, right? So who you refer to, it's an image of you and your business ultimately. And let me tell you, when that happens, because people are people and people suck sometimes, right? They could have a bad day, they can have an off day. We'll give them grace if somebody had a bad day and they just had a bad day. We'll ask them to make it right with our clients. And if they do, we can keep them on the list. But in our minds, we're filing that in our cabinet. But Annie is one that's on our vendor, like she looks and refers to our vendor list a lot with our listings and different things, right? But just know that as easy as they get on, they can come off, but they only get on by earning their way on. They don't pay their way on, they earn their way on. Does that make sense? So just know that you have access to this. If you need, somebody calls you and says they need a roofer. Now, Kathy, I know you do a lot with, she has a lot of properties in Florida herself. So she might have some really good people that we add to the list because she recommended them or recommends them, right? There's contractors and handymans that my clients have recommended. There's people in the office that they have recommended. So we've used them, right? There's people that come in that we've used them once or twice and we're like, you know what? They're good. So just know that we have this. There's some of our painters do things like, because they have a relationship with us, if they need to get paid at closing. I have painters that will get paid at closing. Only for us, because they know I'm gonna sell a house. I'm not gonna overprice it and not let it sell, right?
Yeah.
But they will do things that if you just call a random company, they're not gonna do you favors. We have a waterproofing company, like Natalia, that one, because he had the relationship with the realtor, he was gonna be willing to get paid at closing because the seller had no money, she had the buyer. Right, so the seller's agent had the recommendation, so he knew that company, and that company was going to do it and then get paid at closing. That's not normal. Okay, companies don't do that, so when you have good relationships, they matter. Our vendor partners are extremely important to us. Okay? All right. Now, our VIP buyer program is another huge benefit, okay, that we have within Cintron Property Group, okay? This program, I'm gonna read you this because I think that people sometimes just think of it, but they've never really read it to understand it, right? Cintron Property Group offers an exclusive VIP buyer program. When enrolled in this program, Cintron Property Group actively searches for not only on-market homes for sale, but they also look for homes that may not be on the market. When you're a VIP buyer, the team spends many dedicated hours to making sure that we find you the perfect home, walking you through the process and step by step to ensure it's very smooth. Does this program cost me money? No. Just loyalty. When you commit to working with Cintron Property Group, understand committing is signing the BPA, okay? To help represent you as a buyer, we will set a no-cost one-on-one strategy session that helps us learn more about your needs and wants. How is Cintron Property Group different from other realtors when it comes to finding me a home? Cintron Property Group does everything most agents do, including searching for homes on the MLS. They even have access to multiple listing services for realtors, giving their buyers more opportunities to find the perfect home or investment. I want to make sure I point out, do you guys realize that not every real estate agent has access to the MLS, FMLS? Okay, you might not realize that if all you know is Keller Williams in our office. Not everybody has that.
FMLS, you have to be,
The broker has to be a member of the boards. Yeah, now in Georgia, understand that we're a member with your team, this team, we have access to Northeast Georgia, which is the one for the mountains. We have access to Georgia MLS and FMLS. And then in Florida, we also have Miami MLSs, the Miami MLS. And
FMLS.
Miami MLS is also connected to the MLS that's the large one in Central Florida. Okay,
FMLS is privately owned.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not through a board.
Right, it's not doable.
Yeah.
It's not related.
it's
to-
broker owned,
And you can see Florida owns.
correct, through Miami. You can also have access through the team too, to those websites too. So, because understand that you can, you could actually, but basically you can get onto all those MLSs, okay? So giving buyers the advantage. In addition to this, they have a list of off-market homes options that is always being updated and access to many off-market homes. Finding out about these homes before they hit the open market can be a huge advantage over the industry. Once you are in our VIP buyer program, we spend hours searching for the homes that match your wants and needs and present you with the homes both on and off the market. Did you know there are homes not on an open website the sellers would sell? These are off-market homes. Now, I really don't know that you fully gather what that means, but I'm going to explain it to you right after. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you a couple of things, okay? Once we find the perfect home, now what? We meet and I explain how to help our clients and walk them through the negotiations and the home buying process. I'm a homeowner, now what? Cintron Property Group stays in communication with our VIP clients throughout the entire home ownership. We keep you informed of your market value, home projects, and access to our vendors, and any home projects you may want to have done. We also invite you to many client appreciation events and stay in touch with you. We become family, okay? How do I join the VIP buyer program? Call today and inquire. This is if it's something like. And then we answer all of your questions and we set up a strategy session. Thinking you want to buy, don't wait, call today, find your perfect home. Okay, so this is just one of our flyers, but I want to show you something. I don't know if you realize this, but this is shared. I shared this again with you guys today. But these are off-market properties. So when we're circle prospecting for another buyer, we come across people and the house doesn't work for them. Now, Maya, this is one of her job titles that she's going to help me with, because before you guys would send in your buyer's needs. And when I'm calling and prospecting every morning for listings, I'm calling around listing areas that your buyers are kind of looking for to see if we can find people that are looking. Or sometimes these are builders that have new construction that aren't quite on the MLS yet. Some of these are our listings that are going to come, but it's not always that. This is just one place that you can look for them. Okay. We also have access to PropStream. Okay. So this is PropStream. PropStream is our, let's just say we want to go in Cumming. And we want to find, give me an example. Who has a buyer here that you haven't found a home for, but they would buy something? Tell me about her.
A single family,
Okay, single family.
minimum 2 bed, 2 bath.
Minimum 2. Okay,
230.
Was being coming.
And, oh, no, that's not coming.
what area?
Maybe you can.
Norcross,
Which was Peachtree Corner.
Peachtree Corner, that's the older area, like Peachtree Corner, Decatur.
The corners, isn't it? Peachtree Corners.
no,
It's.
it's more north, it's more northeast. I mean, you could do launch.
You're running that. Then I go in here and I go MLS status. I'm sure you've searched everything on the MLS and nothing matched for her, right? So just to kind of give you an idea, Natalia, there's 114 properties that match,
Okay.
that are valued under that, or at least 2 bedrooms in Norcross. And these are the properties, and they're single family. Now, these are off-market properties. So what this program allows you to do is we pay for 10,000 searches a month that we can skip trace. You only do this if you're going to call. But if you have a buyer, I don't want to do this, you know, I would say if you have a buyer that really needs a home in that area and you cannot find anything on the MLS, you go here, you select it all, okay? And then you go under, you have to save them.
Okay.
You save the name. What's your buyer's name?
Anna,
Anna?
Anna B.
Anna V? Natalia. Okay. So then when other properties become available, it can email you. Okay. So if you, let's say you want to get a daily email when other properties, it'll say that. Okay. Then you're going to add these to a list. And you're going to create a new list because this is the Anna V list. You're going to save it. Okay. And then you're going to go to skip tracing. You're going to select the contacts. You're going to go find your list you just created. Now, do not waste our money on the team. If we notice that you guys are not getting business and you keep charging these, that's a problem, right? But if you're actually using it and calling and making income through this program,
You just can't handle it.
then it makes sense to use it. But don't do it because understand that we're paying for this. Select the added contacts right here. Done. We have 114 contacts. Next. Oh. And then it's $11.64 to get 114 contacts. And then we pay. Is this something you'll use? Then I would pay. Okay,
If you have less contacts, you will reduce.
less money, it's per contact. Now, I'm gonna go back, I'm not gonna charge it today because we can decide. Because you can decide if you want to use it. So here's what it looks like. Once we run that, we go to contacts. I'm gonna give you an example. This is, this is one I ran for one of my, for a calling list that we're gonna call, okay? To look for off-market property. And these are their phone numbers. I can organize it based on mobile phone number here. So anybody with a cell phone, in my criteria, it comes up with their phone numbers, multiple numbers. It's always gonna say do not call. You have to follow the rules with the do not call. We can't solicit. So, but here and then, the email addresses are also here, okay? Of people that fit that category of whatever it is. Now, in your mornings, when you're doing your lead generation, you can call for that one client. And that's why I'm saying you can only have a maximum of 4 VIP buyers at a month. It's a limited access. Why is that? Because how many people can you legitimately do this for and do it right? Right? So now you're calling because you specifically have a buyer. And we'll talk about that later on what that looks like. But just know that you have access to that. Now understand that Maya also, if you don't have time to look, but you have a buyer that's like $500,000 buyer, $700,000 buyer, $1 million buyer, and you need property for them, you can't find them something, but they would buy it if you had something, okay? Those are the ones that you can talk to me and Maya, and we can help, like I've been on the buyer's needs list, right? And we can help with calling through when we're doing and helping find them a place. If we find them a place, you guys get first looks with your client. I'll talk, that's a whole nother strategy on how we do that. That's more of a training that goes deeper. Today's an overview of what we offer. But you can do that with off-market property, and that's kind of how, that's one way. The other way, this is the later, this is what you do later. Your first step, Natalia, do you remember what I told you to do to find the off-market property for their client? That's the second thing. The first thing is active on the MLS, coming soon on the MLS. The third thing is going on FMLS, GAMLS, and looking for expireds, making sure they haven't relisted and reaching out to them first. They've already raised their hand, said they want to sell. Look for sale by owners. Those are off market, right? So those are the first place you go. Then after that,
Where to look for sale by owners? Where would you look for sale by owner? Like Zillow?
Zillow.
Salebyowner.com. There's a lot of sites, if you just Google for sale by owner, and you'll come up with them.
also social media groups.
Mhm.
There's also that there. So, and then, so basically that's off market search, okay? And then, cause you're going deep with these people, but these people have signed a BBA and they're agreeing to work with you. They're saying, represent me. So you go all in. Do you understand how valuable that is, you guys? Do you think most agents do that?
No.
Honestly, no. I can tell you 100%. No, they're gonna set them up on an automatic search, which you should be doing first, so that while any new properties come, they automatically get those, or email them to yourself if you don't want to email them to them, so that the second it hits the market, you get an email in your inbox and you know, hey, this is the newest thing on the market, and call them with that information. Then the second thing is, okay, there's nothing on market, and we're gonna talk about this tomorrow in the buyer's agreement. We're gonna actually pull up everything on there when they're sitting in the room with you. And you're gonna show them everything on market, so they know what's on market.
And this is Florida too, it's all over the
Absolutely,
country.
this is all over the country, Florida too, this is not just Georgia, okay? And you're gonna go that deep, but do you understand why you have to have a commitment from them before you commit to this? But if they're approved, what we call ready, willing, and able, this is how deep we can go. And then PropStream, which is this program up here on the screen, this is like your last resort, right? Because these people haven't raised their hand that they want to sell, but there's indicators on PropStream. So you understand that there's indicators on PropStream. If I go back to my search here and I go here, I can filter, and if I want to get even more specific, I can do vacant homes that fit. This house is vacant and fits. So there's a good chance that they would sell it. Okay, Now, if we don't want it to be vacant, what if we want it to be a pre-foreclosure? There's no pre-foreclosures there, right? Let's see if we want it to be, if they have a lot of equity in their house. 106 of them have a lot of equity,
Also,
okay? Or what if we want them to be divorcing? So sometimes it'll come up, yes, these people have filed for divorce. That's an issue they're gonna have to sell, probably. Good chance. Senior owners. These people are old. They're seniors, 15 of them. So you can see how you can, if you want to go in here, tired landlords, there's 11 of them. That means they've owned it for a long time and been dealing with the chaos of tenants. But they have equity, most of them. So you can narrow your search to get the most likely quicker before you just call 111, boom, 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 boom. Okay?
Mindy, how do you know about the condition of the house? Like that you wouldn't, like.
No. So this
So
is
you-
what you get. So for example, yeah, but Natalia, so Natalia just said, well, you could do all this work and then the buyer doesn't like the house. Woo-hoo, money day, because
You got the.
you've came in, you've already met the seller face to face to get in and see the house. Now, the next thing is, and if this is a lead that comes from like Sync or one of the things, then at that point, you're gonna say, you know, you're gonna basically say the house wasn't for us. Like if we basically, like, let's say Maya's doing it and she calls you and she says, so-and-so, we have found the house for Anna. Okay, so Anna, you know, you go see it, Anna doesn't like it. You're gonna give the feedback to Maya that that house wasn't for Anna. But we take it from there and then we pursue them for a listing.
Got it.
You understand?
Mhm.
And before you can go to that house, you have to get what's called a one-time showing agreement signed.
Got
So there's training that goes behind this, not a whole lot, but there's stuff that you have to do. So when you're doing this, you have to make sure to talk to Mary Lou and make sure you're doing it in the right step because you have to have a compensation agreement signed with that seller for that one-time showing. So that when they like it, you're getting paid for it. Same thing with the for sale by owner. Same thing with that. Okay, so those are technical terms, but the whole point of today is to offer your value and show you the value you have. Now, Natalia, you said, how do I know about the house? Well, if you said she wants to not be in an HOA and this is in an HOA, like things like that, you can look up here. Okay, what county it's in, how big the lot is. You can also see how much they owe on their mortgage. There's a lot of information here.
Mhm.
You just click on the house and it still gives you. You can also run, it tells you what it would rent for. Now, you can't 100% go off of this, but this gives you an idea. Okay, all right. Remine. So off-market list, this, as we're coming across people that we've talked to, we add to this list.
Got it.
So these are definitely, if they're on this list, someone on your team has spoke to them. And who you connect with, these are all my talk tos. I know they would sell today if I brought them a buyer. They're just not ready to put their home on the market yet,
Got it.
okay?
Mhm.
There's a reason behind it. I can't type out all the reasons, but if you have somebody that might match in this list, your price points are here,
Exactly.
then you just call me and say, Mindy, what's up with this address? Da, 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 da. And then I say, hey, let's get your buyer in. Okay, now, Remine, this is in Florida and Georgia, okay? This is a program that we have through the board, okay? I use this all the time to look for likely sellers that have a sell score that's a high probability that they're going to sell. Now, you have to understand, in the same way you go through, you add filters. You only want to do off market, which is not there, it's here, which is already here, off market properties, right? Or whatever. You can find through here, we can find price points between this price and this price. This is very similar to PropStream, just PropStream has a much higher platform. And is a little bit more accurate. But what I like about this is that it gives a sell score. So this is definitely something that you can use. So like, let's say,
Yeah,
Mhm.
160
What,
days.
yeah. However, sometimes these have went back on market and it's not as accurate as the other platform. But it's still a good platform to use and it'll give you like who the agents were. This was a Mark Spain expired. Okay, yeah. We won't comment on that since we're being recorded, but it gives you like evaluation, and Remime is fantastic with that. And it also, just in case you wanted to, it also gives you contact information sometimes if they have it. Okay, but just know that we have access to this for the VIP buyer program. Okay. Now, as we go through these slides, I'm gonna X out. Now we have a Coach to Market program. Let's read through this flyer about your Coach to Market program. Coach to Market is designed to help a person get ready to buy a home. Buying a home involves several important steps preparing to get it ready. Evaluate your finances. One, so if they come in, but they're not ready yet because their credit score is not good enough. Or, you know, we established that their lease isn't going to expire and they can't get out of it until whatever. Okay, or there's so many reasons why a Coach to Market program is the right fit for that person. Okay, so we calculate their budget. We help them calculate our budget. Some of this stuff we don't personally do. Some of this stuff we connect them with our lender partner who does. But some of the stuff we do so that we can connect them with the right lender partner, because we have multiple options of lender partners, right? Okay, we may see quickly and easy things that you can do to help improve your credit score. We can put them through a simulator that would increase their credit score. Like if they do this and they do that, they're going to get their scores up 20 or 40 or 100 points within 3 or 4 days. It's called a rapid rescore.
I didn't know.
Yes. So we can help guide them on how they're going to save and make a plan for saving for down payment. We had a client, Natalia, that we were on a Coach to Market program with from Hawaii. Wanted to buy. She couldn't buy. We were helping her along. She's still in the program, helping her along the process on what it's going to take for her to buy and what she needs to do to get there. Sometimes it's selling a house. They got to sell before they can buy, right? And we have answers for that we'll talk about in a minute too. But down payment, they don't have enough down payment or closing costs. So if they don't qualify for a grant, because we would look at that option first, because that's going to move them to a VIP buyer. If we kind of can figure out their situation, then we move them to a VIP buyer program. So they go from Coach to Market to VIP buyer. But the Coach to Market is they really want to, but they're not there yet. There's something in the way. Sometimes it's a divorce. And it's a Coach to Market program. But we have strategies to set up to help them buy before the divorce is final. Right? So understanding that. And then closing costs, we look at programs that might have some assistance or talk to them about ways they might not realize. Sometimes this program gets them in the door because they think they're not ready. But when we evaluate their situation, they really are ready. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't have money saved for closing costs. I want to buy probably in 6 months or whatever. But they don't realize that there's programs that can help them pay for it. We have grant programs for that. We don't give them the information over the phone. The very worst thing you can do is tell them blah, and throw up on them so they have all the information and they don't want to come sit down and talk to you, where you can get them to sign an agreement. So you just tell them we have programs for that. Trust me, come in and sit down and let's talk about your situation. Because they don't want to tell you they never met you sometimes, or you're in Publix line, or you're at the grocery store at your kid's swim meet, you're at the lacrosse game, you're at the softball game. You don't want to talk their personal business right there. Set up a strategy session. Let them know there's ways you can help them. You understand? That's what this program is formulated for. I will tell you probably 8 out of 10 people think they're coming for the Coach to Market program and they actually can buy now. And they're actually a VIP buyer. But if you didn't offer them this program, they would have never sat with you to find out that they're ready now. Some of them didn't know they could get out of their lease with no money. They didn't know that. We don't know that they can until they come and they show us their lease. If they're military, and they have orders, we can get them out of things. Like there's so many ways we don't know until they sit down and talk with us, right? So, and then we help get them pre-approved. Sometimes they're just not approved yet and we got to work with them. but sometimes it's the lender they talk to. Because if you don't have lender options, for example, one of our lenders can only do a 640 or better. And he'll tell them, you're not ready yet, get your score up. We can't get a rapid rescore to get you to that score, so therefore you're gonna have to wait to buy. And then there's other lenders that can go down to what, a 505 with a credit score. So until you sit with them and you really understand what you can do and what your lenders and vendors have to offer, you can't help them right there. They need to come sit and talk to you. So this program is to get them in the door and decide if they truly are a coach to market. And then there's gonna be like 2 or 3 of them that truly are. Because one thing or another, and they just can't buy yet, we have a couple on the program right now. Okay, that we're working with them to be able to buy. All right. So is there any questions about our VIP buyer program or our coach to market program of benefits that we offer? Okay, I want to go over real quick and just to kind of change subjects real quick. I just want to, and this is not to pat myself or my mom on the back at all, but I want you to understand the support you have. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we've been through, what we've done. There has been markets, okay? Hold on one second. What year did you get licensed, Mom?
93.
She was licensed in 93, which just to kind of give you an idea, looking at the screen, you see where the interest rates were in 93 above the line, right? Yes. Above the line. Higher than they are today, right? And there's interest rates in the 80s that were at 16%. Okay, so, and then she got in the market and the interest rates were above the line. The yellow line is the historical average from 1972 to 1923. That's that line. So it was above the line. So then the average from 90 to 2023 has been around 6%. We're above the average that most people that are younger know right now. Okay, but we're not above the line that it was in 93. We're just a little higher. Now, and this is in 23, mind you. So when we go to Mega Camp, we're gonna get an updated slide. We'll update the slide. Okay.
Rates have come down even more.
Rates have came down. Yeah, that's 6.8.
Yeah.
We're a little bit lower right now. Okay, we're hovering that line, but that's normal rates. Don't wait for the time. This, you know, over here, this really low rate is like COVID. There was a natural disaster. Sure, disaster. So rates came down a lot, which if you jumped on it, fantastic. If you didn't, okay, it's not bad to buy. But so we've been through that. Where home prices are, I want to show you something.
When I first started selling, the interest rates were like 11% about.
I bought my first condo and my mortgage was over 10%
Mhm.
when I was 18. And I bought it, my grandma co-signed with me, right? And we bought my condo at 18 years old, but it was at 10 or 11% interest around there. Best investment I ever made. Because of that condo, I was able to buy a townhouse. Because of that townhouse, I was able to buy another house. Best decision I ever made. Okay? So in 2005, the prices of homes were above the, this line right here is the trend, right? That's our trend line. Basically with inflation, it's normal that prices are gonna go up. We've always said between 5 and 6% a year, and that's normal in real estate. Your investment should go up 5 to 6% a year. That's normal, right? So this line goes up. We were in markets, who was in the market? Well, knows about the market of like 07. We were above the line and look how we came down. This is national, by the way.
And then 08.
And then we came down, and then we came down in 08 and 09. And if you were in Florida where Hurricane Wilma hit, it was really bad. Or if you're in Fort Myers, after this last hurricane, they still haven't recovered. So understand that this is national, but there's other markets, like right now, also like Houston, like Texas, areas in Texas, right now are hitting the ground right now. They suck. Why? Because they have a local issue. The lack of jobs, tech is not a good place to be right now, right? So they have job loss, they have history. So so this is national, but this just gives an overview, and this will be in your buyer's guide, okay? But understand that we were in this market. My mom and I were both licensed. Jim was licensed, okay? Your team leaders were all went through this market. And we had to quickly spin and figure out, oh my gosh, we used to tell people to cash out their values. And oh my gosh, there's no value. They owe the bank more money than the house is worth. And so we had to quickly get really well trained in REOs, which is real estate owned, which is foreclosures, and short sales. And I literally hired a team. We had an admin similar to like an Annie or a Maya or whatever that literally just sat on the phone with banks because these title attorneys, title companies in Florida, title attorneys here were overwhelmed because they were trying to negotiate these short sales. And basically,
And at that time, I knew and we knew more about short sales than a lot of the attorneys in the title.
we knew more than most people because we just knew a lot about it. Like we literally dug in.
Short sale in, right after Wilma, which was August of 2005, I did my first short sale in October 2005. That's when it wasn't even, nobody was doing short sales then.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you hyper locally in both Broward County and here, okay, in North Atlanta, we are tracking pretty well. Okay, we have wealthy people. We are tracking pretty well. But I have to make sure you understand, the values are not going up the way they were going up. We've gone up about 5%. That's still a healthy, good real estate market. But if somebody comes into an emergency because they lost their job and they just can't pay their rent, or because they got divorced and they have to sell, they don't have a lot of equity if they just bought a year or two ago. Real estate's always been a great investment if you own it 4 or 5 years, because you're paying down your mortgage and you're gaining that equity. But if they got to get out of an emergency situation, you guys have to understand that even if the market doesn't crash, we may still see a few short sales because people have bought high, right? When they buy with high mortgages like FHA and VA. Now, this is in the future soon because the other mortgages, FHA and VA, when we were going through COVID crazy, it was 100,000 over list in cash. So those people, I'm not talking about those people. They have the equity because they paid the cash. You see what I'm saying? But it's the people that did FHA mortgages, VA mortgages with only 3.5% down. If they get into an emergency and have to sell,
Well, they have to.
we might be upside down on a mortgage. And
Because
somebody,
they also have funding fees that were added to.
yeah,
them.
VA loans, if they're not disabled vet, they have funding fees that are added to the mortgage, how much they owe. So it's gonna take them a little while to catch up if the inflation, like if the prices aren't going up as fast as that is, right? So just understand that Mom and I and Jimmy, okay, would have plenty of experience to be able to talk to your client on that situation and help them through the situation. Okay, you'll learn and educate through the process if you haven't been there yet. Okay, and maybe someone has been there and they have just as much experience. But don't be scared of that, because I'm telling you that in the future that we are going to see it again. Don't shy away. You let people that we can help them. You can help them through their situation. You understand that? So just know that that's a huge advantage, because I just had someone call me. It was a referral. They, from a friend of mine in South Florida that needed to sell their house in Ocala. Okay. I looked up the information. I was going to refer them out to a realtor. Well, I found out they're upside down on their house. They're trying to sell it. They were unhappy with their realtor. It was listed for $300,000. Do you know that realtor kept it at $300,000 for almost 6 months and never reduced the price? Because she said, well, I can't do anything. They owe $295. They don't have the money to bring to closing. I was like, what do you mean? They've moved to another state. The house is sitting empty. They're 4 months behind on their mortgage. You're going to let them foreclose? Like, this is what our industry is not, they don't know what to do. So they're doing that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to, have you communicate with your bank? No, she told me, and actually the realtor told him to stop paying because whatever, right? and they never reduced the payments because they couldn't afford it. Well, just stop paying, never told them to call and talk to the bank. So when you have lack of knowledge and lack of support, you can tell clients to do silly things, and that's happening out there. So long story short is he was 4 months behind on his mortgage. We basically have talked to him and told him exactly what he needs to do, communicate with the bank, get the house on a price that's gonna sell. You can, if he has to sell, I said, can we rent it out? My first option was, can you rent it out and cover it? But can you get back current with the mortgage and maybe do a loan modification with the bank? Do you understand? There, I know all this could sound like foreign terms. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay. Some of it might sound like foreign terms if I'm talking to you right now. And you're like, what does all that mean? All you have to know is there are options. We evaluate through a strategy session what those are. And if you know it's gonna be a complicated situation like that, you need to call in the boss to sit with them, if you don't think you can handle it. You understand? And we're there for you. You're supported, okay? So just know we've been through different markets. We foresee in the future. We really, understand that. Now, the other thing is, because we've been in the business a very long time, we have over 100 years of combined experience, okay? And so we'll start going through this a little bit, but we're gonna touch on a couple of things. We have over 100 years of combined experience. So when there's a deal that seems like it's hard, or like it might not be able to be done, we've probably done it before, right? Or we at least have some suggestions or knowledge around it. So, and you guys can, our team, we're available. Like if you call me at 10 o'clock at night, the other night I was working till 2. Not that I always do that, but if you need something, we're there. We save our clients on average 3%. When we've done the numbers, we save our clients on average through negotiations, 3%, on average. And I'll explain to you in a minute how we get there, how we did that. And 98% of our skills allow buyers to beat their 98%. Our skills, we allow buyers to beat their competition. Do you know, like, not all agents, if you were gonna make an offer on a house, would call the other agent to see if you're competing with another offer? They don't all do that. They don't all get all the information that you can get from the seller to be able to best. What's the most important thing for a seller? You guys all know, because you've been trained, that we always have to know what's the best that the seller wants if you're competing with offers, right? And winning the offer is something that we've gotten really good at through our strategies, okay? And through the way that we help buyers. On the seller side, we usually get multiple offers on houses through the grand opening campaigns, and we're able to, through our strategies on how we sell, net them top dollar and get them, where they need to be, okay? So, we've helped over 1,497 transactions. I put a plus sign there because that was the day we counted. And then, but over that, because every day we help more people, it goes up, okay? So, let me go over some of the other benefits that on our team is coaching, right? So if you don't know, I pay $1,000 a month for a MAPS coach, okay? That coaches me. It's $1,000 a month for a 30-minute Zoom call. And why do I do that? Because I believe in coaching. Do you think a championship winning team can go to the championship and leave their coach at home?
No.
What would happen? A baseball team, let's talk sports. They go to the World Series or whatever, and they, coach, we don't need you, go home. The team's just gonna go out and play. No, because a coach is a leader that can see something before the players can, because you're in the game. And a leader is out and they're looking at the whole picture. And they're in the business, they're knowing, but mom is that person that's overseeing, but she's in the game because she's communicating with all of us all the time. But she's been there, done that. Myself, as included, I'm in the game, so I'm feeling it. But sometimes I go to her too, and I go to my coach because they are over it all. Does that make sense? And they can see things like, hey, you need to do a squeeze play right now to score that run. If you don't know baseball, sorry to tell you. A squeeze play is like where, like, the catcher's not paying attention, like, or delayed steal, right? Kathy, you can relate to this. Like Pedro, he's gonna see something the player's not gonna see.
Yeah.
It's worth every minute and every dollar. I spend $12,000 a month on coaching, and it's worth every dollar for that coach. Now, mom makes a salary out of our team's budget, right? She's paid also, right? And that's a big expense. She's there to help coach you. Right? So you don't have to pay that $1,000 out. She gives you 30 minutes once a week. Sometimes it goes over a little bit, but we try to keep it at 30 minutes. And that's an added value. And you bring her sometimes things, but she's also going to bring you things that she's seen that you might not see because you're in the game. Does that make sense? So she might ask you questions that make you realize, maybe I should be doing it this way. Maybe I should be doing it that way. And listen, we don't know it all, and your business should grow to the extent you are. And as you do more training, you're going to evolve. And we're not, we're here to help guide you, but coaching is super huge. It's super important. Okay. All right. Networking. BNI is a group that I'm involved in. This is nationwide. Okay. It's a group of networking people. You can get involved in your own networking. You have access to it, but we also have access to a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. And I'm part of this group, pay annually. If I needed something in another state, I could find it very easily. And now these people that we're connected with, there's a whole process on how you get approved. How do you get in, Natalia? You went through the process. Is it
Yeah.
easy?
No, it's not easy.
Not easy, okay, to get into a BNI group, right? And so basically you're interviewed by a whole bunch of people in your group and they choose to be with you and they choose you as the one agent for their group. This is an example of BNI, which is business networking, okay? Now, what advantage does that have to you guys as agents that were involved in that? If you have, really, it's just a slew of networks. So we can get on and we can network with other agents in different places. We can get on and we can, if I need a plumber in South Carolina, I can go in my BNI group and I can find a plumber in South Carolina through the BNI group. And these people were voted for their group in that area. So you can pretty much count on that they're going to be a pretty good businessman. Okay. But there's also a ton of training and it's global. They have events. It's global. It's all over. Okay. But networking is huge. In our business, like I said, your network is your net worth. And the more connected you are, the more experience you have, the more business you have, you're working with other people in other industries, seeing what the overall economy is. You're the only realtor in the group. And every Tuesday I meet with my group. And so in the North Atlanta area, the other people, like not just the mortgage lender, we're talking about how our business is and what our business is like. We're talking to roofers. So is the economy hurting or starting to hurt? Don't you think if you get a bunch of business people together and we're talking about our business, we start to see change before other people see change?
Mm-hmm.
So you're keeping the cart, you know what I mean? Like you're understanding how the different industries are being impacted by different things and that are happening in the market. Okay. Now, Keller Williams Luxury is another thing. Okay. So I am a member of Keller Williams Luxury. You cannot buy your way in, but once you're in, you can buy your way to upgrade. You have to earn your way in. You have to sell homes in your price. In both of our areas, it's $750,000 and above, and you have to sell a multiple amount of them in order to be considered a luxury agent. Okay. We are a luxury team. Our luxury listings have different signs than our regular listings. Okay. They have a luxury sign. Because they are on, whenever you are a listing that goes in and it's a luxury listing, okay? They go on different platforms. They're syndicated out to the Wall Street Journal. They're syndicated out to Barron's and a lot of different platforms that are in the luxury world in addition to all of the regular platforms. Okay? They are, we have a luxury hub. Okay? Basically, we have all of our own branding. We have, and luxury, by the way, Berkshire and Hathaway and a couple of those other companies, they claim to be like the top luxury agents. Keller Williams Luxury has taken them over big time. We do more units than they do all day long. They still try to hold on to that claim. We're global and we have a much higher platform than they do for luxury in our luxury world.
And Sotheby's.
This is the International Crossover Series. Basically, our our leaders are international. So our listings get syndicated out to all the, all the different countries. In their high level, high net worth people. So whatever that in like Mexico, for example, or Colombia, you have high net worth, they're in a different level than some of the not have high net worth, right? So there's different areas that they hang out, if you would. So all of the listings are go to them, go to those areas. This is our luxury community platform. This is like a Facebook group. It's it's not in Facebook, but this is here. It's our community group. We advertise out our listings if it's a luxury listing, okay? To our own group of Keller Williams luxury agents because they have buyers moving. California is exiting, right? And California's exiting, New York's exiting, New Jersey's exiting. So we can put our listings out. We do when we get a luxury listing, we put our listings out to the people out there, okay? And then we can actually advertise for their, if they have a buyer that's looking to move to this area, you can go in and you can search and you can find agents in the area or properties through our own platform. Okay. So we all just talk. Hey, how's the luxury market in your area? How's the luxury market in your area? We have networking groups. We have Zooms where we get on calls. Okay. These are all of our Zoom calls. We have, and everything's recorded that we do. And we just mastermind with other luxury agents across the country to see what the different markets are doing, which is why I can tell you certain markets are hurting more than others, right? Ours is still in a pretty good state in both areas. Okay. This is our quarterly mastermind. Okay. And we register to go in, and that the last one was December 11th that we do. But we basically mastermind with a bunch of different luxury agents. Once you've earned your way in, you'll be invited. You'll get an email from Keller Williams Luxury that says, we noticed that you've sold, enough to qualify for this platform, blah, blah, blah. But because you're under our team, okay, as a co-listing agent, you can still share this same platform as long as we're on the listing together, right? So under the team, you still can be a Keller Williams Luxury agent. So you can know that anything $750,000 or above will be a luxury. And they will go on all the websites, Barron's, Wall Street Journal, all the places they need to be in order to get all the right looks. Okay, we're going to take a break in just 1 second. So these are, there's 8,000. Understand there's 8,498 members. That's it. Do you think that's a lot? So out of all the agents, they can say they're luxury. That's the amount of members that we have in our group. That's it. And that's that's nationwide. Okay. So that's a pretty big deal, you guys. Like, I don't know if you realize that, but there's a lot more agents than that. And we're one of 8,498 across the whole country and countries. Big deal. Okay. All right. Let's take a break before we go into sports. And then let's come back. Let's say, what do you want to say? 10 minutes? Okay, 10-minute break. We're getting started. Kathy, you with us? You good?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're gonna like this part. This
Okay.
entertainer.
Uh,
You have all the contacts here. Kathy's, she's the rapper queen.
Oh,
Right, Kathy?
how are you?
Yes. She doesn't necessarily like rap or anything like that, but she's got all the connections through her husband, right?
Kind of.
Oh, you do. No, he drives like they have driving stars. He does more than that. He does more than that for them though, right, Kathy?
Yes.
Maya loves them, Yogadian.
Yeah.
You meet Maya?
Did you- I don't know if I can turn my computer. Oh, hi.
Hi.
You'll see her. Okay, we'll introduce you better later. Okay, so getting started. All right, so welcome back from break. Let me am I sharing my screen right now?
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
see it? Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
All right, awesome. Okay, so the other thing we offer too, okay, so just digging right back into it. So I just talked to you guys about luxury, okay? We talked to you guys about networking in the different groups we're in there. But now I am part of what's called Keller Williams Sports Entertainment. Okay. There is only one agent per office allotted to this category. If you were grandfathered in, then you can have more than one in an office. We have 3 in our office. No other agents from this office could ever get into this because we hold it down. You understand? So Keller Williams Sports Entertainment, we refer people, it's a huge network. Okay, I'm gonna show you. The private housing network, okay, is basically a part of Keller Williams Sports Entertainment. And we are official partners with the NBA, official partners with all of these different groups. Okay, including like the hockey group, soccer. We're a part of all of those groups. We're affiliated with them. What does that mean? That means that we go in their locker rooms, we meaning our head guys, these guys up here, which are a part of Keller Williams Sports Entertainment. They're like the founders of it. And we educate athletes and entertainers. Because what happens is they come into this large sum of money. They don't know what to do a lot of times with it, right? And so we're educating them on how to properly invest and what, their housing. Also, people hear, oh, they got a contract on something, whether it's an entertainment contract or whether it's an entertainment contract or whether it's a sports contract. Like, let's say, okay, he was in the draft and he got drafted. He was the number 3 round, actually my daughter's, at my daughter's school, he was the number 1 draft pick at the, Major League Baseball, right? And so his dad paid for the Braves and he goes to my kid's school and everything. And so he comes into all this money and then this contract. And what do you think? Everybody wants to work with him to sell him a house. Oh, I want to sell him $1 million house. Well, let me tell you something. They need to have people that they trust to do that, right? Because it's like when you win the lottery, people are going to nobody wants you to know you won the lottery because people are going to knock on your door trying to spend your money, right? So it's very similar concept. So they get very particular with who they work with and they don't really trust a lot of people. So on our social media, you might see some branding stuff around this. Like you might see some generalized pictures, but we don't often like share pictures of people we've helped unless we have like exclusive permission to do it because it's very private. They don't want people to know their business, right?
And they don't wanna.
Right. And a lot of times, but there's things that just so you know, being a part of this group, okay, we have had to go through extensive training. Okay. We've had to do a lot of things. We have contracts that they have to sign, that we have to sign, saying that, we're going to be, we're not going to just divulge their information. Right. When we go to show a house, we don't tell them, we don't name drop and tell them so-and-so is going to be there, right? Sometimes they pull up in black cars. I mean, the entertainment world's crazy. At least the rappers are, right, Kathy?
Yes. They're very, very crazy.
But sometimes it's leasing homes or, because they don't want the homes in their names because sometimes it's leasing homes for their family or their friends, or there's all kinds of crazy stuff we do, right, Kathy?
Yeah, they're very complicated.
Very complicated. They don't really do great with their finances and budgeting, if some of them. And some of them do. Okay, but understand this, and I'm telling you all this. We have a lot of experience with a lot of different types of people in that world and in that image. We are connected across the country. If there's a stadium in the town, there's a realtor in our group. That is all, one agent per office, that's all that can be there to get into this group. So if you went to family reunion or mega camp, they're gonna have a booth set up. But if you go, you would go on a waiting list under whoever else is there, but you have to qualify to get in. So in order for me to get into that program, I had to have we worked with the Miami Dolphins coaches and players. When we were in Florida, we worked with them.
Hockey player.
And hockey players and soccer players, and we had a lot of experience in that world, which is how we had to write a resume and an application, and that's how we had to get accepted, and we had to do an interview with the head guys. That's how we had to get accepted to get a part of the program, to be a part of the program, okay? Everyone in our industry has connections in some form or fashion. The other thing is my daughter's a high-level athlete. We're, in the softball world and competing there. And a lot of these kids now with name, image, and likeness, they're coming across big, I don't know if you guys realize this, but these high school kids are coming across 450,000. I have one person in my brain, high school kid, signing a college scholarship to go play college ball. He got $450,000 in a Ford Explorer, plus his college paid for. This kid is gonna get a 1099 for $450,000. Now, I had lunch with his mom the other day. It's like, what are we gonna do with this money? Well, of course, you're gonna go to the college, you're gonna buy his place where he's gonna live, you're gonna own it so that you can invest and he's not blowing all this money. And we educate them
Yeah.
on what they need to do with this. Now, they're gonna have to pay taxes on it. We don't talk to them about taxes, but we connect them with the right people, right? And so through these industries, we're networking with all these people. And on my business card and on yours, it can be, is KW Sports and Entertainment. You can have the logo because you're under the T. Just know that any deal that goes through sports and entertainment, if you're using their marketing and networking or anything about that program or talking to them about the program and how we're affiliated with it, you have to do it under the member who's on there because it's so exclusive and limited. Okay. And we're a very small group. Like if I go see Jason or Jordan, like they know me, they're like, what's up? How's your daughter? Da, 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 da. Like when we're at mega camp, we're going to get together with them twice. And we literally have happy hour, we have drinks, and then we do a training session. Like we do a 4-hour learning and it's always something, right? 1031 exchange. So let me go down here. Let me see. I think it's on here. Okay, through this, I can't find it right now and I don't want to waste time looking, but through this platform, you guys, there's what's called Delaware Statutory Trust, okay, DTS. And what that is if they want it, okay, so I'm gonna give you an example of our guy in Florida, just give you one example, not gonna name drop, but he's a soccer player. He's going to play overseas. We sold him a condo in Florida, okay? He's never even stepped foot in it. He bought it a couple years ago. He's never stepped foot in it, but it's his primary address because he's from Pennsylvania, okay? And so in Pennsylvania, there's state tax on your income. So very high state tax. So he was going over to play in Europe for soccer. He's a very good soccer player, one of the best. Seriously, really good. So he can't, on that income he's making, he's been on 3 teams since he's bought that property because he's getting salary increases and all this stuff. On that team, he can't pay, if he pays state tax, he's paying a lot of stinking money to his home state. So he moved to Florida, where there's no state tax. We sold him a condo on the beach. All his mail, like that's his primary, he changed his driver's license, that's his house. Okay, filed homestead, that's it. He doesn't own any other houses, so he's not doing anything wrong. That's exactly right.
He never gets to go.
He used to live with his parents. He never really gets to go there because he's in Europe working, right? So long story short is we sold him a condo that pretty much he would have been paying taxes with that money. Instead, he bought a place and he's saving the state tax. It was like $350,000 condo or something. And he's got a place to account for in Florida with that money, but it was a strategy session where we talk with their financial advisors and we, basically I have meetings with their financial advisors. I have another guy who represents my daughter, okay, who's a sports agent. And he's got, he's got one guy, we deal with Carolina Panthers a lot, okay, football team. And we deal with Texas. So we have one guy, Shaq Mason, Okay, he's out of Texas, plays for the football team over there. So I connected him with one of my network girls, love her, she's fantastic. He was renting an apartment for $11,000 a month, close to the stadium. And he's on a 5-year contract or a 3-year contract or whatever. I think it was 3 years. And when we were talking about this, $11,000 a month on a 3-year contract, like what's wrong with you? So my guy said, hey, you know, and I say that, I'm joking, but this is the stuff they're doing. Their financial advisors are not telling them otherwise. Let me ask you, do you know why they're not telling them otherwise? Because they get paid commission on the money invested in the markets. They don't get commission on the money invested in real estate. So they're not, as much as they're working for them, we always have to deal with them and talk to them. And a lot of the financial advisors aren't like that. There's a lot that are not like that. So I say that because there are some that are. So educating them and going into their locker rooms, being a part of this organization where they're educating them, then they decide like, hey, I need to talk to these people. I can trust them because we had to go through a whole process to be a part of the and get in their locker rooms and stuff. Plus, let's say like I've had we network, like people will refer people to me. Like, first of all, the soccer player, he was a referral from one of the lenders within that group. Now, understand they can't go to like a Mark and get a mortgage because these people are on contracts. Do you know what a contract is? Yes, short term. Like they're only as good as their,
Last touch.
and a lot of their pay is on bonuses. I'm talking sports now, right? But same thing with the entertainers, right, Kathy? Like they get paid based on their concerts that they do and the different things that they do, right? So like we have a lender, it's called Shore Sports or whatever that we use that basically only works with athletes. And they can get them the mortgages based on the contracts that they have and they'll qualify. So there's things we can do and all of our networking and training that we do is all stuff around them. So if you have any connection, if you know of anybody, or if you come across people, just understand that it's like knee deep that we can really help these people. So you guys understanding that aspect and what we do and how limited it's like of people that actually are in this field. There's only 1%, I would say it's 1% of realtors that are able to be, and it's exclusive, and our team is in it. Okay, and has access to that. Okay,
You want rent them something in Seattle, then they.
Yeah.
In Arizona.
yeah, now here's another thing, okay, thank you for bringing that up. So another thing is the get by giving. I work with a lot of these people, I don't even get paid for it. We just do it because I want to help them, because a lot of these athletes, okay, they don't get that $500 million contract. They only get an opportunity to go out there and hope they make the team. And they might get cut. And so we need short-term rentals for them
In spring
in
training.
spring training. And so we help them with spring training, like housing for 2 and 3 months while they're out training. I don't take a commission on that. I do it for the relationship building. I connect them with people for the relationship building. Our agents that are out there, we do a lot of that. Where I call them up and I'm like, hey, listen, I need you to help me find this short-term rental. His wife and baby are gonna come out there with him. They want an Airbnb. It's gotta be fully furnished. They don't wanna put electric in their name. They don't want anything. We don't just go on Airbnb and find them, although we use that source. We also have a source right here. It's called InFocus. Okay? And this is additional luxury style short-term housing. Now, those people don't have money and it's usually not luxury. And the sports teams will usually put them up at a hotel. But then if it's extra, like one of our guys got an injury, they wouldn't pay, the team wouldn't pay for them to stay, but he wanted to stay and keep being trained by the trainer for the physical therapy. So he had to stay over. So the sports agent called me and was like, Mindy, I need a place for him. Can you help us find a place? It's literally only 2 months, needs to be furnished, this, that, and the other. Okay. So understand that we do things beyond, I mean, that's not always about money, but just if you don't know what we do and how we offer that, when you come across those opportunities, you're not going to know to keep them in-house, right? And that you can serve them and help them. All right, so this is InFocus, and this goes on. This is beyond just sports entertainment and all of that. This is anybody. So let me tell you about this program, okay? Amy started this program, and she's part of our sports entertainment division. This is pretty much all around, but it was based out of Atlanta, but you can use this in any areas. So there's Georgia and California and then other US states, okay? So have you ever heard of people coming into a house and filming a commercial? Do you know they make a lot of money for their house for the short amount of time that they do that? Okay? So these people that have 2 and 3 and 4 homes, they may not want to Airbnb their house because they don't want to, it's their home, but they might not mind if somebody comes in and shoots a commercial and they make 10 grand for 2 days. Okay? And they're not just looking for mansions. Listen to me, you guys. They want cabins. These are movie settings. Disney's one of the people that do it through this program. So your client can put their house on this and you get paid a commission if they connect with that house, because you sign your client up for this. Okay, so we're a member of this through the team. We can advertise their house. We get professional pictures and everything. We put it up. We tell them about their house. And there's a commission that they will pay out to the person who connects them. It's basically like an MLS platform, but for this kind of thing, for commercials and for short-term rental. You basically select what they want to do. Okay, there's also corporate event space, there's luxury, and then there's regular, and there's short-term housing. There's all different branches. Okay. If they're in production, they come here and they look and they kind of put in what they want and then they match it. These are different homes and places that are on there. It doesn't have, like I said, look at this one, Decatur, 3-bedroom, but they're on for film. It might be a movie where they're not in the best, they don't need a mansion. They might need a regular old house. So don't think that your client wouldn't qualify for this if it's a home that they're not, this is something they can put up. Let me tell you something else. I have clients, the one we sold in Roswell on Canton Street, okay? She literally has 3 commercials done in her house. She lives in her house, but they call her, they want to use her home. They set it up. She just goes and stays out in a hotel for 3 days or family or friends. She lets them come in. They get the house and make the house the way they want it. Half the time they're only using the kitchen. So it doesn't matter what your other bedrooms look like, but if they want different furniture, they'll just bring in the furniture. You don't have to do nothing. They do it all. And she made like a lot of money. And when we sold her house, how cool was it that our marketing said she had 3 commercials? Wasn't that
Everybody
cool?
was so
And everybody was like, oh. Even sometimes it's just a YouTube commercial. Sometimes it's regular commercials. Sometimes it's a YouTube. Like my son was in a Kroger commercial on YouTube, but he lived in Florida at the time. We didn't even know what Kroger was. True story. Okay. But just know that we have access to this and we use it all. We use it. Now, this is the other thing you have access to. Did you know how valuable you are? This is rented furniture. So you have a client. We use this a lot in sports and entertainment, but we can use it for anything. Okay. This company is called American Furniture Rental all across the country. Well, they're in these locations, but they're in Atlanta and they're in South Florida. So you see this, Kath? Yeah. So they're in our area in Florida and they're in our area in Atlanta. Okay. This company's fantastic. You have somebody coming in for a corporate reload.
I used to work with them at the apartment. I actually had them come furnish like 2 or 3 apartments for us.
Why did they need furnished apartments?
Because like they just had an insurance claim on their house that had flooded, so they were gonna be there like for a while, but they didn't wanna buy all new furniture and stuff, so they came and furnished the apartment.
Exactly. And we use that for multiple things. Sometimes in sports and entertainment, if they don't want the utilities put in their name, or they don't want to have to go through all that, we won't be able to get them an apartment and furnish it. So we usually will do like Airbnb or whatever, but if they're okay, like on a insurance claim or something like that, and they just need short-term stuff and they don't want to buy it because this furniture is not going to be their forever furniture. There's so many times that you can use this company. It's well worth it. Just know it's there and you have access to it. See, Miami and Atlanta, they're in both locations. This is our go-to company. Okay. So this is what I do. And this is what you should do. Do you guys know how to go here? You create, or you just ask mom, or you ask me when you come across needing it. But you create a shortcut and you put that right on your homepage, just like that. And then you'll see all of my links that I need to get to quickly or know where my value is right there. That's an easy way to do it. I have to figure out how to bring it back up. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. Okay. All right. So that's another thing we do. All right. You guys getting all this? Okay, real estate planners. This is another networking group I'm a part of. Okay? Real estate planners. It's exclusive. Okay? Exclusive to the point of only one member for each 100 agents in the market center. So that means how many can be in a planner in here? Candy Bolton's one, I'm one, and I don't know who the other one is. But only 3 people can be planners in our whole market center. Okay, I also have that for held down, okay? So why? Because I think it's important that you have all these things, right? Because we get referrals within these networks. We also just have the training and the education behind all of this, okay? Why is my heart into planners? Why did I join planners and what is planners, okay? You get certified, in order to be a real estate planner, you have to be certified in senior relocation, in 1031 exchange, in Delaware statutory trust, okay? In trusts and probates, okay? Now, these agents, which there's not nearly as many of these agents as this is where we are in the country, just to kind of show you. These are all planners. Florida's kind of loaded with them. We have quite a few here, but this is where we are across the country. So these people have all been trained. So if anybody know anybody that's ever died or had someone in their family die? Yeah. So we all do, right? And when that happens, if you just go to an average real estate person, they're not going to know all the ins and outs of what to do and how to handle the probate, the estate, the wills, to guide them into a direction. They just are going to be like, I don't know what to do, right? Well, we are educated, we are trained, and we know how to handle it. Now, every state has different rules, right? There's certain things in different states that are a little bit different, but we can refer to people who we know are trained in that area. Because a lot of times mom and dad live in another state and the kid knows here and your relationships with brother. So you would say, Mary Lou, I got a referral that I'm going to send, but I need someone that really will know how to help them. Their mom just died and they have a place in South Carolina. Can you send it to somebody? You can tell them, listen, don't just refer this to anybody. Don't just go find any old realtor. You need to make sure you're with a planner, someone who knows what they're doing, right? So understand that that's super valuable, super important, because it is extremely, like, for example, the listing we have coming out in Coral Springs, right? It's an estate. Okay. And so you can listen in on this, Kathy. So Kathy's going to do the open house. This listing's got amazing. One of their people live in Atlanta. One of the kids live in Atlanta. So there's things like the kids aren't just allowed to sell the house. They have to go through the court. And so we had to make sure, we almost did an open house. We had to make sure that the kids are able to sign the contract. So we deal with the estate attorney.
Have a will.
Because they didn't have a will. So when that happens, but there's processes to everything. So making sure that you're not just gonna let some random person that doesn't have any interest in selling the house sign a contract and then you're in trouble, right? And so the education around that's super important, but just know, we have a huge referral network. We have marketing and social media where we market. I do senior expos, right? You guys know I've been going to senior expos because we specialize in this and it's part of what we do. So I have flyers, okay, that you guys are very much welcome to use and have, okay, that say, can you relate? Is my home too big? Is there too many stairs? Too much work to maintain? We know as interest rates rise, right, or have rose, and prices aren't going up as quick as they are, who is moving?
Divorced people and elderly.
The people who have to move. People aren't moving because they want to, they're moving because they have to. So we are looking to market to the industry of people who are either first-time home buyers and looking to get in the market, or people who have to make a move because they're getting relocated for a job, or because they are downsizing because their house is too big and they have all this equity from just having a fantastic amount of equity being grown. And now they want to just buy cash their next house. They want to sell their big house and go to down. So we're looking for, it's like we call it, or if they're having a baby, it's called life events that happen that make them need something. Like when you go get married, you're going to have a baby. You're going to go buy a house or get a house, or you're going to need more space than what you currently have right now. So we look for life events to gain the business because those are the people that have to move, not that want to move. The want to moves, our lack of motivation, we're gonna waste a lot of time with them. We look for the have tos, and we tend to find a lot of have tos in the seniors. So the senior relocation is a nice thing. And just know that within senior relocation, it's dealing with them differently. We're trained not just to deal with them like any client, okay, with your elderly people. All right, we're dealing with them. We put on, like, you can put on a pair of glasses, right? We did this. My mom was like, oh my God, this is like so good. And you ask them to write a check, and they put on these goggles, and it has little circle dots all around it. And they can barely see, but that's how an elderly person feels when they're trying to see. And you'll notice that they're doing like this, and they're trying to see to sign the check, right? And the kids, they're adult kids that are like me, right? Or a little older or whatever. And they're like, come on, mom, sign, do this. But they don't understand that they're doing the best they can, or they have arthritis in their hands and they can't. So you have to deal with them differently. You can't deal with them like you deal with anyone else, right? So we go through training within this to say, how are we going to deal with these people? And just being observant to the idea that, you don't deal with everybody the same. You treat people differently. Educating their kids on how they need to be dealt with. Now, we also have a guy in both locations that we have what's called like an assisted living locator. Now, understand when we say downsize, we're not just talking about we're talking about there's two steps to downsizing. There's the kids are going off to college and I don't need all this space. Those are the people that are downsizing to maybe just a smaller place, taking out the equity, buying majority cash, having a very low mortgage, things like that. Then there's the people that have the medium-sized house that want to go to the villa or the condo and not have to do all the maintenance because they're getting older. But they're not ready. They don't have dementia. They're not ready for assisted living yet. But it's their next phase. So it's a downsize. We just sold one to Nolan. I think one of the biggest things, and I didn't mention this before, one of the biggest things about our team is in the same week, we closed a $130,000 condo sale in Florida and a $3.2 million sale, luxury sale in the same week. Like, this shows that we are here to help people and not just certain dollars. That was the hardest transaction I think we've done in a very long
I
time.
haven't worked that
Was-
hard on a deal.
We haven't worked that hard on a deal in a long time. My mom was fabulous getting that to the closing table because it was insane. Condos are super hard and the lower end prices are much harder. It's harder. Natalia closed one where it was a hard deal. They didn't have money. They literally didn't have any money. They didn't have good credit. It's kind of like this other person you're going to have to work with, right? But it's the point is that if you're on this team, it's because you care for people, right? We could do big deals. We could do small deals. Now, going back to that, saying we care for these people and we want to put them in a good place, right? We want to make sure. So we sit down sometimes we do a 5-year plan with them. So a lot of these people you're going to see is they don't want to. They got 30 years worth of stuff. And one of the biggest objections that we're going to have is, I don't want to have to move all this stuff. Like, what am I going to do? We have partners in both states that we work with, okay, that literally come in and help them. So what we do is we try to find where they're going first. A lot of times we can. There's a bridge loan that we can help them get, okay, if they need money that way. There's all kinds of options depending on their situation. We can help them find where they're going first, get them moved in, and then be able to handle their estate. They're still alive, okay? So what happens is the company, her name is in Georgia, her name is Lisa. She's fantastic. It's one of the companies we use, and we have them on our list of vendors, okay? But they literally handle everything. So they basically have a floor plan of the house where they're going. They're going to sit down and have a strategy session because it's very hard because it's overwhelming. They have 27 years of stuff in this house. I'm talking about a client specifically. And she's like, but I just don't know what I'll do with all my stuff. It's more about the stuff. They don't need this big house. They haven't used those 4 bedrooms in 20 years,
But
it's all the stuff. So then what happens is, if mom dies in that house, guess who's got to deal with the stuff? And do you think the kids want to deal with that stuff? Do you think that's a burden that they're leaving to their family? Yes. So a lot of times the kids are like, come on, mom, you gotta do it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we are specializing in this area, so we handle it with kid clubs, okay? We go in and we talk to mom, we explain. We have people in place that are trained, they help you do this. There's, it's seamless, okay? And so what happens is they come in and they sit with them and they have a consultation. They go through, they open every cabinet, they open everything, they look and see exactly what everything is. And then they have a floor plan of where they're going, because we might have already found their house, right? And so now mom gets super excited. I really like my new house. I'm actually so excited. I'm thinking of one of the 55 and older communities that have a super social clubhouse. And this lady had been sitting on the lake, let's just say, and she had neighbors that she's known for 27 years, but these neighbors, have moved over the years, and it's different people. Everybody's getting older. She doesn't really know them anymore, and she's lonely. And so what happens when you sit and read books or you're lonely? You digress. So a lot of these people, what we're seeing is they go to a place like a 55 and older even. It doesn't have to be assisted living. It can be independent care. There's independent living. They go there and they join these clubs. They get involved with neighbors and they like for example, Ginny and John. They love Crestwood. Like, we found that place. That's a whole nother deal on how we structured that deal and made that happen. But I called them the other day to check on them, and they're like, oh my God, we're having so much fun. This is the best thing we've ever done, blah, blah, blah. They literally drive their golf cart up to the to the clubhouse, and she swims almost every day. Like, they have a gardening club. Like, John does the hiking club. Like, they literally have friends again. They said they bought on the best street in the whole neighborhood. They love every single one of their neighbors. By the way, the house I sold them was off market. It was an old expired listing, and I called them and I got them, and they said, yeah, we would sell. I signed a one-time showing agreement. I got them in. The seller saved 3% because they didn't have to pay a full 6% and go full market. We got the deal together. Do you know that their house is the house remember Lake Lanier? The one we sold? That was an expired listing. The agent had it for 6 months because of the driveway. He blamed the driveway, couldn't sell it. We sold it in 10 days.
We had
them do some things to it. I had them adjust a couple things. I sold it in 10 days. The other agent took 6 months, couldn't sell it.
Oh, it was a nightmare then.
Yes, that was a nightmare. But the other agent. But anyway, my point is we go above and beyond. We do things that other people can't do because of the ways that we work, right? And they
rented a golf cart because the driveway was hard to see, and then it was sloped down to the lake. He rented a golf cart for the weekend for the open house.
yeah, you do things you gotta do. But listen, so like that story, for example, is we took it expired. It was expired. We took an expired listing. We sold it in 10 days. We found them an off-market property. We got that deal together, and they're happier than ever. And they were a senior couple, and their kids, and we helped them get the whole house, packed up. They worked their tails off. And, but she didn't know where they were under contract on a house that they were gonna buy. They had a contingency of sale. They had to back out of that house. They were so upset because the agent couldn't sell their house. However, they ended up finding a better house. Because why is that, you guys? It goes back to our core values. I don't know where I put my paper right now. Oh, here. Our belief system. People are divinely put in front of us because we're supposed to help them. Do you understand that? Like, those people they would have bought a house they didn't want to buy with a different agent that couldn't sell their house. Like, they needed us. And if I didn't make that phone call and knock on that door, because I literally went and knocked on their door to make that deal happen. If I didn't knock on their door, who knows what would happen with them? They'd probably still be in their lake house thinking that we can't sell. Oh, and we sold it for the amount of money they wanted. The agent told them that they needed to sell it for less. Sold it for $1 million. And that house was a great house, but it wasn't, it was an older couple with older furniture. So our accessory staging, I think, is really what helped. So advantages to the team. Understand that we have Annie. Annie is a certified home stager. Okay. She's a certified home stager. Okay. I'm a certified home stager. And what that means is that we are trained to the eye on how the house needs to look. So we do what's called, listen to our listing appointments, how we do this. Okay. We do what's called a blue tape walk. Okay, this is the system. So we get the lead that comes in, they wanna sell their house. And sometimes it's a referral, all right, a network referral. So they come in, they wanna sell their house. You guys know someone. Annie calls them. She goes over all these questions with them. It's called our pre-seller questionnaire, okay? They answer a lot of questions on like, can you give an example on some questions that are on there?
Just like confirming how many bedrooms, how many of that stuff, what made them buy the home, how much they still owe on the home. Those questions.
And why do we need to know that? Because when we go in for the CMA, we're completely prepared. We know a lot more so that our CMA, our comparative market analysis, is very, very detailed. So when I come in, they're gonna get the information from me that they want to have, okay? And we come in with a book like this, and it tells them about our process and how we work and all this stuff. All of that to say, we're doing the exact same thing on the home buyer's guide. This is basically a listing presentation for buyers. This is exactly what this is. We have the same thing for sellers. Okay, so we go in, she calls, I'm prepared, we can do the CMA better now. We go in. Now, before we even get to their house, we mail a trust package. It tells them that they discover the difference between this, one
That's
of
the buyer.
yeah, we do a buyer's one, your process one. This is a seller's one. But you're gonna mail them like a trust package, okay, before you meet with them, if you have time. If you don't have time, and a trust package, if it's a seller, sometimes it includes a book, like, right? So mom helped, but we've written 3 books together. Okay? How to sell homes fast for top dollar, the buyer's guide, this works in Florida and Georgia, and best-selling options in a divorce. Because we've dealt with a lot of these, we decided that a book would help us really just, we kind of give these away. We don't really sell them, but it gives us, credibility. We're authors, right, of a book that they chose to listen to us on how to sell the homes fastest in our market. So you can give these out. We have these. You can give them out to people. When we do when I do open houses, you should have these on your open house. When we do, when you come against someone that's in a divorce, like that lead, why would you not mail them this book? Mail one to the ex, one to the husband, one to the wife. We have a whole package for divorced people that we mail out. We mail one to the wife and one to the husband. We're the neutral couple. So if you have opportunities, just know that come to Mary Lou. She's got a whole trust package that we send out to divorces. If that's your coach, like, I have this couple, I don't know how to get in the door with them. We do. It doesn't always work. You got to follow up too. You can't just mail the trust package. Usually we wait to mail the trust package until we have an appointment with them. Once we have an appointment with them, we mail it before they get there so they know who they're dealing with. And you just say, hey, my team leader is an expert in divorces and we work as a team. Why is a team better for divorces? And I know I'm getting sidetracked, but this is all stuff I need to cover today. Why is a team better for a divorce situation than an individual agent? I know you know the answer. I'm asking you guys, why is a team better than an individual agent for a divorce situation?
So you don't.
There's 2 people.
In my mind, this is common sense. Because that's how much I do it. I know it's not common sense, so I apologize for that. However, when you're a team, you might not feel good about it, but you're not gonna get that listing. If you're just any other agent, you gotta fight with all the other agents. But if you go in there and you say, listen, I'm gonna work with the husband because him and my personality are just alike, and Natalia's gonna work with the wife. They each have their own individual agent, even though it's not a buyer seller. It's 2 sellers. When we do divorces, each husband and wife gets their own agent. You understand that?
So
Yeah.
if you and Mindy list the divorce house, just like you're on, it's. not
And we
divorce.
come together sometimes, and sometimes it's always different. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes, if it's cordial, the husband and wife can sit at the same table and can have the same person. And we can have like, let's say I was gonna partner or co-op with Natalia on this one, or Tony, let's say you have the divorce right now, somebody going on. So me and you would go to the meeting, right? If they're cordial enough to sit in the same room, we would. Okay, so we can do a Zoom and they'll meet each other and let them know, you're gonna have me, and they know up front, And I'm gonna say, and you're gonna have me to confide in. And we're gonna work this together for the common good, because ultimately, what do we want? Everybody wants the same thing. The court said you have to sell the house and you have to get the equity out of it. So we're gonna be mediators and help you get through this. If you paid for somebody to do this with your lawyer, you'd be spending a hell of a lot of money in the mediation room. And we a lot of times can save them thousands of dollars because we are, and we're a team, we're in the common good. Can we all agree that the house sale is what needs to be done? We can all agree. So now that we know that we definitely need to sell this house and there's no other option, now it's just getting there. So you're gonna have me to confide in, you're gonna have me, I never talk to that husband and you never talk to that wife. And that's how we do it. But we talk to
Done it
each other
very
constantly.
successfully, like the-
We're extremely successful when it comes to that. Okay? So understanding the value of your team and that we're experts in dealing with this, we also have strategies on divorces too. So sometimes the husband needs to leave because that's how it works a lot of times. Okay, let's just for sakes, let's say it's the wife that has to leave. Okay? She goes and rents for the year because so she's got to throw away and rent a house for a year, but the divorce is almost final. Okay, so what we offer and how we do this is we have a holding company that can buy the house in their name and charge 2.6% and once the divorce is final, then they get their mortgage and they put, or the other house or their house sells, then they can put the house in their name, but they can move and they can rent from that holding company and the house is in the holding company's name and they can rent while they're going through their situation, and they have 6 months to sell and rectify their situation. Now, you don't do that when the divorce just started. Why? Because a divorce can sometimes, if it's not a friendly divorce, take longer than 6 months. And they only have 6 months to get that done. But if they're towards the tail end of the divorce, then why would they rent? Because if it's going to take a year, let's go rent for a year. But if they're towards the tail end and they've already rented and they're getting ready for their final mediation or their final this or that, those are opportunities. So just know that your team leaders are experienced experts in divorce. And when you get that opportunity, you need to send them a book. You need to talk to them and tell them that we have ways that other people don't. Okay, that we specialize in this. All right. Now getting back over here to Planner, we are, I'm going to give you one more thing real quick before we go back to that. We have a flyer that you guys can use to send out marketing material. To each, this goes with the trust package if you don't want to just mail the book. Now, these we can hand out like candy. The books obviously cost a lot more money. We're not handing them out like crazy, but if you come across against opportunities, take one, they're in the office, mail it out. These are the flyers that just tell people about it. And partnering with divorce attorneys, if you have one, hello, cha-ching, like the more divorce attorneys you can come across and you can say, listen, we have the answer to all your needs. Like, refer us. Do you think they can give us a lot of referrals? Absolutely. So if you're connected with that, definitely do that.
That's
That's
in Florida, you can pay an attorney a referral. I don't know about Georgia, but they.
Yeah,
don't
Georgia,
have-
you can.
too.
Yeah, you can pay for a
attorney
referral fee.
Referral fee.
Yeah, and we can do lunch and learns and educate them on how we work. And then if you make that connection, you're part of every deal that attorney brings in. And then we help handle it and we do it as a team. We co-broke that together. Okay, so if you have attorneys like that, or if you have a sports agent, or if you have whatever, and you want to bring me out, every deal that we closed, you're in on it. Okay, but understand the value that you have by having those programs. Okay, all right. So the other thing we do is a liquidate stress-free option. Okay, this is the other value that your team brings. Okay, no preparations, no showings, no repairs. You choose the closing date and no commission. What? No commission? Yeah, no commission. So if somebody over the phone asked you, how much do you charge in commission? How many of you have gotten questions like that?
Change that to compensation.
Yeah, change the fire, but for now we can use it. Okay, so but no compensation, right? How does that work? How do you do that? You know why? Because this is the Mark Spain model. So Mark Spain has advertising billboards, but here's the deal with Mark Spain. And I will tell you, when I met with Lisa the other day, her and I had lunch. Lisa's the lady that does the estate. She does the senior relocation. Remember I told you? And she has the whole thing mapped out with these. She literally does, just so you know, she does the whole thing. She'll literally go in and do like an estate sale all online so the house doesn't get ruined, sell everything. They get a portion, they get like 70% of the income from the estate sale. She prepares the whole thing and then she cleans out the house and has the house ready for sale. Then Annie comes in and does after the deep clean, she comes in and does the staging and then we sell the house. All of this while they're in their next house already. So literally, when I tell you we do everything, we literally do everything. Now, and I go into the appointment or whatever and explain it to them, like, that we partner with this company and they're fantastic, blah, 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 blah. And that we can help them do it all, so don't worry. Okay, now liquidate stress-free. Am I talking too fast or are you guys okay? Okay, this is, we buy, first of all, everyone in here should own investment property. Everyone here should own investment property, right? And there's never a bad time to buy the right house. Do you ever walk into someone and they go, we don't want an open house. We are going through a divorce and the wife is a dirty mess. I'm making this up. But she's got 16 dogs and 45 cats and 16 kids. She doesn't pick up nothing. Or Mr. Hoarder home, my dad, I'm so embarrassed. I can't even he's got so much stuff. Greg Willis in our office buys houses, right? He's one of the guys that you can bring any deal to him. He doesn't take a commission. You can still make the commission. I buy houses, right? Don't take a commission, 0 commission. You can still make the commission. You should buy houses. Julio would buy houses. We have a list of investors. Kathy would buy the house. If I can get a house 30% below market value, I'm going to buy it. We have the access. We have the funds. We can buy it. Okay. I say all this to say, some people like Mark Spain, he's grown a very huge business on this strategy. I mean, he's on billboards, he's on commercials, and he's in the islands somewhere, right? But it's all because he gets in the door with saying, we can, offer no preparation, no repairs, if that's what they want. No commission. What's your compensation? Oh, we range anywhere from 0 to 7%. You do? Yeah, we'd have to talk about it when we get there. I mean, everything's negotiable. It depends on what they want because we're really here for the client. Why did I start this? Number one, I started this because we needed to we were missing this part of there should be 0 people out there that you miss and you can't get because we don't have offering. You understand? So in addition to this, there's also this program right here. Okay, buy before you sell. Hold on, all demand there. Let's see. You can get we can do like open door, similar, right? And offer on the house. Hold on. There's 2 ways that you can go to every listing appointment. We can go to every listing appointment. You know what the first question is? What's the most important thing to you? Tell me about you. What do you want? You're talking to them on the phone and you're finding that out. You're talking to them here. Well, let me ask you a question. As a buyer's agent, do you think since we offer this, we have opportunities that they might not realize? And if they want to be on a buyer's list to get these opportunities, because we can't buy them all. So we go out to our investors. Don't you think they'd want to have a first call? And guess what, guys? You give them 1 hour to make a decision. Hey, I got this one coming up. You can come see it and then let me know. I'll give you an hour after you see it and let me know. And then you schedule almost like an open house, but not an open house, just for the investor clients, right? To come. I did it in Lilburn. For a guy, an older gentleman, he insisted, he just wanted cash as is offers. His house was vacant. He just didn't want to have to deal with the marketing because he had an agent who listed it for 6 months and couldn't sell it because he was asking too much money. Anyway, so we literally use this strategy. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Does everybody understand this option? So it's as is, it's legitimately. When we go into that listing appointment, we are not trying to get over on the client. They will understand. If you sell it this way, this is how much you're going to get. If you sell it this way and we go on market and we sell for top dollar fast, this is what you're going to get. And it's usually about 30% more than market value. 30% more is if they sell for top dollar. 30% less is what they get if they sell off market. I mean, if they sell like cash as is. Does that make sense? So they're going to leave.
Mark Spain.
That's the same. It's the same formula as Mark Spain's numbers. I know a Mark Spain agent. I took their formula, did the same exact thing, and we matched it. It's the same formula. The difference is we actually care about the people. And I say that in a really loving way. Because I will tell you that when I sat with Lisa, and this brings it back all together, when I sat with Lisa at the lunch the other day, she told me, oh my God, I wish I would have known you had that to offer, because I just went in and sat with these people, and Mark Spain had they basically told me, we have 2 weeks to be out of this house because Mark Spain's insisting on that closing date and they will not adjust. Just so you know, in our program, they can have a post occupancy. We can close, get them the cash because we deal with seniors a lot, and give them a couple weeks after the closing to still live in their house. Now, you don't tell them this over the phone. You tell them this at a strategy session at the listing appointment. Okay, but we will give them, because we care about people. We don't want them to feel rushed. We want to make sure they find where they're going, and that we're doing this because we care about them, not because we're trying to get over on them and just win money. Do you understand? The numbers are going to match. The difference is the caring technique and who we are as a team, and boiling down to our core values and how we take care of our people. You understand? So if they need a post occupancy because they're going to a smaller place, and they need time to get all the stuff out, we're going to work with them. So what will happen is, before we close, Lisa will come in and tell us how long she needs to get the house ready. And then we let them start, because it's a guaranteed offer. Once we get through inspections, we know we're buying that house. She can go in and start. And if they need the money to get into their place like a week early or something, we make sure that they get it, and we make sure the timing all works out. And they have their money before, and then they can finish up the process. But like the way Lisa works is, she likes to have them out of the house once we start the estate sale anyway. So they're moved into their new house, and then it takes about a week or two to get that finalized and cleaned up. But we would bring in the consultation, and we would handle the whole process over a Mark Spain that's just going to handle the money. And I mean that in a loving way. Like, they literally are filling a need with handling the money for a lot of people. Like, literally a lot of people do this, or they would not have a business. Do you understand that? Okay, so it's a big deal that we offer this, and just understand that you do. Now, going back to these seniors, okay? This is a guide. We help them. A lot of times it's very kid gloves, but just know that we have this flyer that I give out at a lot of senior expos, and there's a lot of situations, and we handle them with kid gloves. Okay? And when you bring them in for a meeting or a consultation, it's usually with seniors, you're going to talk about where they're going. They are not going to talk to you about selling their house until they know where they're going. Because it's very nerve-wracking for older people to make change. You understand? So, and how do you do that? Because they need the money from this to do that. We have plenty of solutions. You can't tell them over the phone what it is, or you'll never get them in person. But you just need to make sure you understand when you're sitting with them. We'll explain it all to you, Mrs. Henry. I can assure you that we have plenty of solutions for your situation, but it always varies based on your situation. So if I can just, let us sit down and let's talk about it. Sometimes those appointments can be 3 hours, you guys. And it might be a nurture for a year. But those are the people that need to move. Because remember, I told you it's hard for some people to move right now, because they're locked into a 2%, 3% interest rate, and they don't want to go anywhere. So we're going to have to work in these different niches if you want to be successful. Divorce, as is sales. You have to be better than the industry, which is what our team has really made sure that we are. We have opportunity for all this. Okay. All right. Has anybody learned anything about the team so far today?
You've
All right.
been here a year.
It's really not about things like,
No.
I mean.
Okay.
Deeper, yeah.
All right. So here we are. So let's go over this book. We're going to get into this tomorrow. But, and we're going to see how you go over it. What I want you to do, if you can tonight or this evening, is I want you to kind of read through this book. Okay. And I want you to see, basically, yeah, everybody has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on the screen too. But I want you to read through and see. This is going to be our BBA, a buyer's consultation. This is going to be what we go over, in the compensation. Can you guys read this tonight? Read through this book. And basically, or before or tomorrow during the day, it's fine. Just before 1 o'clock tomorrow, so that you guys know what's in this. You might not understand it all, but you're going to see how I present it tomorrow. And I don't want to just read through this because you guys can read. You're literate. That would waste time. But I'm gonna show you how we present this tomorrow. But this is all stuff that's super important. The other thing I want to make sure you guys understand, go to this page real quick that says, perks.
What page number is that?
23.
Thank you. Yes. And the reason you're seeing some of these on one side, some of them are going to be bound book, that will be a bound magazine.
Okay, on page 20, I guess it's 23, okay.
Mhm.
So working with us sets you apart. All right, we have events, okay? So once you work with us, you become family. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow a little bit. But I want you to know, like, we do client events, we do home buyer workshops, we do seller workshops, we do senior expos. We run the spring fling, which is a spring fling is like a big, we have a live band and we have people, we invite our clients to come back to it. We do a shredding event, we do client appreciation parties at the end of the year where we invite our clients to come back and celebrate with us our successes. We do a fall event, which is trunk or treat, where we go, it's a community event. We do Red Day where we give back to the community, okay? And we volunteer our time to give back to different things through Keller Williams and through what we do. But we also, with our VIP members, okay, we have moving bags. I don't know if you guys realize this, but any one of your clients can sign out moving bags. You can offer that to them for free. If they're moving, have you guys seen moving bags?
No.
They're big bags and they have big handles. And basically they can put their clothes in it, like instead of a suitcase or boxes and waste boxes. Yeah, I mean, we have, and you can just drop them off. We love to do things that are called surprise and delight. You don't tell them that up front. Don't tell them any of this up front necessarily. This is the perks. This is the surprise and delight as you're going through the transaction. If they need a pressure washer, they can borrow and rent our pressure washer, okay? No, like borrow it, like use it. Yeah, not rent it, not money, for free. And we have a dolly, a moving dolly. Sometimes people need that, right? That they can get. We have moving blankets they can use, okay? And we have, if they ever wanted like go out on the lake and use a lily pad, they can use the lily pad out on the lake. Like we have access to that. And in Florida, Kathy, we can get that access to that too. Also a combo lockbox. We can let them borrow a combo lockbox. Why would that matter? If they're rehabbing a house and they want contractors to be able to get in and not give them a key, we can let them borrow a combo lockbox, right? So these are just little things that you can surprise and delight your clients with. And then we have an exclusive Facebook group, right, for our clients. And we do giveaways, like we give dinner for two on Valentine's Day. Any of our clients can enter to win dinner for two to really nice restaurants, Capitol Grill, different things, okay? So just know by being a part of our team, like these are all things. Also, they have full access to our vendor list, which that vendor list we don't just hand out because honestly, you can refer people out, but our list is different than most vendor lists. Our lists are people that we've combed through that we're really adamant about and we understand. Let me see here. We also offer this. I want to make sure you understand it. Love it or leave it. I'm going to go over this tomorrow. Read through this tonight. We have a cancellation guarantee. Make sure you understand what your team offers. We have a distressed seller program. We have anytime showing program. We have custom loan programs. I'm going to go over this with the client tomorrow. You're going to see what we offer and how we present it. But I think you understanding it's super important. Okay. Now, this is the other thing. We didn't send this out to them, did we? Tony, what time do you have to leave?
No, probably about 4:45.
Okay, 15 minutes. Are you guys good for another 15 minutes? I know you guys are. Are you, Natalia?
No.
You got 15 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
I
We're
mean,
gonna,
I'm not in a
Kathy,
rush.
do you need to go or do you got 15 minutes?
No, I'm good.
Okay, this is the last of today.
Here.
Okay, you have this in your book. Does Kathy have this? She has it on the screen right now.
It was the material.
Yes, I
not
do.
the
I'm
money.
looking for it now.
Okay, my friends, so you all have this. Okay. So,
Before the,
Yes, I got it.
yes. Okay, I want to go back really quick before we start this and just say, with the planner program, does everybody know what a 1031 exchange is?
no,
A 1031 exchange is where you can take an investment property. You know how like when you sell an investment property, you have to pay capital gains tax
Which is
to the
really
IRS, which is like a lot of money. we are trained and we have 1031 people. Okay, because that basically hold the money. Because they can, if they buy another like property, it's gotta be a like property, and if you need more explanation of this, we can tell you. But investors need, if you're selling an investment property for anyone, or buying an investment property for anyone, you need to understand, what a 1031 exchange is. Now, just know that Mary Lou and myself are, certified 1031 exchange experts. We totally, know everything you need to know. We would send them to a CPA because it's individual to them. But basically, they can sell their investment property, invest that money into another investment property, or a DST, which is like a, yeah, which is a very big hedge fund, which a lot of our sports and entertainment people do this because they don't want to have to manage a tenant. We can basically put their money where they're getting residual back on that money from like an apartment complex. So they buy into that apartment complex. You can't trust, there's a lot of gimmicks like Ponzi schemes out there. So going through our company, through sports and entertainment, and using the ones that are actually Fidelity backed, okay, is a big deal. But those companies come in, and then a lot of these athletes or high-end people or tired landlords, they can take their money. This is 1031 exchangeable. This is, do you know what that means? Like, they don't have to pay the taxes because they're gonna sell all their investment
Which
properties.
is really good for Julio, which is
Yeah.
what he should be doing on each one.
Every time he sells a property, he needs 1031, take that money. But the minute he walks away from the closing table and takes 1 penny, he's not eligible for 1031. He's got to pay taxes on all that money.
So he will have to buy
And then,
prior to the close.
No,
No.
but there's a reverse 1031 too. So that's why I'm saying, you have Coach here that knows all about this stuff, and there's a lot more deeper that you probably don't even realize. But that's why I'm saying, if you have questions, you need to ask them. If you have situations, like you have an investor you're working with, mom's gonna make sure you understand the 1031 exchange and all of that kind of stuff. So bring those things to her, and just know that we're certified 1031 exchange people. So,
Not that I will have particular situation,
Yeah.
but just because I've heard about it.
yes, yeah, and it's too much to go over in this training. That's not what this is for, but it's a value proposition that your team is trained on that and knows exactly what to do. Okay, this is HomeBot. This is one more thing that I'm gonna bring up, okay? Now, every one of your clients, I don't know if you realize this happens, but after you close on a deal with a buyer, they're gonna start every 30 days, Florida and Georgia, they get an email, okay, with how much their home is worth, okay? And it tells me exactly the activity. This is Terry. He was emailed yesterday. He opened the email a minute ago. Okay, like literally up to the minute. His house, look, you wanna see what his preview, what he got in the mail? This is what the email says. Now, I wanna show you how fantastic, I pay a lot of money. I pay money for this, okay?
My people is in there, my people is
Now,
all of them.
He's increased in value 58% since he purchased it in 2020. His equity is up 58%. Okay, now, needless to say, yeah. So needless to say, it tells you here what you've paid so far. He's paid 35,000 towards his principal, and he's paid 56,000 towards his interest. And over a 30-year loan, he'll pay 525,000 in interest, right? If he just pays $100 extra a month, he's going to save 20,000. And if he pays an extra $500 a month, he's going to save 77,000 over his mortgage over a long term.
Amazing.
And it tells him here, these are in red. Does it make, listen. Yeah, you just send it to Caesar, you'll get it. Listen, does it make sense for him to refinance? Do you notice that it's in red?
Yeah.
If this goes to green, this is when they know if they should call Mark or one of our lenders to refinance. Because it tells them that he would have a $271,000 loss if he decided to refinance today. Not a good idea. It tells him if he did a 15-year mortgage, how much he would lose. He shouldn't do any refinancing, keep the loan you got, okay? So, and then it'll tell him if they're good, what the rates would be and what he can expect. Also, if he rented this address on Airbnb, what he can project to get. Okay, and that's the projections. Do you think this is valuable to your clients? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they love this, okay? And they open it every single month. and it comes from our team, and it's valuable information that they get. And then what should you do, you guys? You should call your clients when you check in on them quarterly, because you're doing the DTD2, which is the do the database, which is where you're calling your clients quarterly. When you're doing that and you're calling them, you need to ask them, are you getting your emails? Are you enjoying them? Do you like to see how the market's going? Now, if they buy recent, if it's going to give them analysis, they need to understand this is computer generated. If I went to list his house today, do you think I would list it for $992? Maybe not. I don't know. It's not like a human. If they're serious about selling, they need to meet with us. But this gives them a general idea. It's basically us as we're their real estate advisors. And I haven't touched a lot on that today, but because we know all this and because bringing this all together and wrapping this all up, you're not just a real estate agent. You're a real estate advisor. You advise them based on their situation and what they need to do. You advise them on how much equity and when you have a financial planner, that's a financial advisor, they're going to advise them on what their projections are quarterly and monthly, and they're going to send out a once a year what their investments are doing, right? Like TD Ameritrade and all that. I get a thing in their mail. It's either comes by email or and I know what my stocks and things are doing. You're doing the same thing, but you're doing it in real estate on their asset. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you have knowledge and things to help guide them. And if you don't, we do, so that you can help guide them to making good decisions, to not paying capital gains tax that can affect them $200,000 that they need to pay IRS if they sell. Sometimes it makes sense for them to hold a property for 2 years instead of 1, because they'll have a long-term gain over a short-term gain, which can be a difference in a lot of money for taxes. If they've owned the home 1 year and 8 months, do you remember with Selvin? I told him, you need to own this home for a few more months, because if you don't, what's going to happen? You're going to pay capital gains. So if you sell right now, it's not a good decision. He doesn't remember that.
No,
But-
I haven't.
But
He only.
yeah,
He
but my
says the number.
point is we're not just real estate agents, we're planners, we're advisors. And we're not just gonna sit there and order take. We're gonna hear them, we're gonna explain to them, and we're gonna give them the knowledge and the power that they need to make the right decisions for their own assets. This is probably the largest asset that most people will ever own. I mean, he's up 58% on his investment. Do you think we did a good job by selling his house? He was one that downsized. He was in a smaller house and he upsized. Okay, he got a larger asset. All right, let's go over this real quick because we got literally 6 minutes till Tony's got to go. I'm going to touch on this a little bit more throughout the training, but this is the overall and so of what we're going to cover. Okay, so wanting to lead to this, there's 25 words and phrases that you guys need to be like in your sleep saying. This is sales, okay? And if you need to be able to say all the time, no problem, no problem. It keeps you on track. When people bring up things they're worried about, you listen and then you say, no problem. We got this covered. We can help you. No problem. It calms them down. It relaxes nerves. That is something that should roll off your tongue all the time. No problem. Say it.
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Even if
Don't
you're
worry.
stressed out inside to make it all happen like that.
Oh.
Were you stressed, Natalia? What do you say? Don't worry. It's all gonna be okay. They got enough to worry about. Moving is stressful.
I say this is all perfectly.
Yeah.
fine.
So it's very easy. These are 25 words that will help increase your income by at least 20,000 a year. If you can just this will increase your income by just getting these words down. Okay. Should I is a trial code close. Okay. Should I call you tomorrow? Should I? Okay. These are easy things to just say. Should I?
Should I?
Yeah. Should I call you tomorrow? Okay. And speaking about that, let's go to the ingredients to selling, the delivery, the method, and the words. Delivery, and we're going to go deeper in this, but it's like your facial expressions, your voice, how you say it. They realized people weren't closing deals. She's so good. She's got so much. She wasn't closing deals because she went up in her voice instead of down. Remember, we learned that in bold.
Yes.
Like selling techniques, when you're talking to someone, you go down.
On the phone also.
On the phone also, it should be a down go. Okay, body language. They read stress on your face. Like these are eye contact, super important. The method of sales. This is the ingredients to selling. Fear of loss. People will act because they're scared to lose, but the opportunity to gain they don't need to gain, but they're scared to lose. So if you're gonna talk to somebody and you want them to move or act, you need to talk about what they're gonna lose if they don't. Don't talk about what the opportunities are to gain, okay? Also, facts with emotion, facts with emotion. Okay, we'll talk about that more deeper later. Visuals, that's why in our book, you're gonna see lots of visuals. You're gonna have visuals. Parts break down into parts. You wanna break it all down. You need to break it down so people understand the process. Let me tell you something. 100% of people, 100% will not make decisions if they don't understand what they're making the decision for. If they understand it, they'll feel comfortable to do it. If they don't understand it, they're not doing it. So you tell them, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. Come to the meeting. I'm gonna explain exactly how we do it. You'll know exactly the process. Don't worry, just come meet with me. We're gonna go over everything. People are scared to make a mistake. They don't understand it. I don't invest in stocks I don't know about. I'm comfortable investing in real estate because I understand it. Right? Okay. Questions, have them self-discover. You're going to notice that throughout the process when we're delivering these buyer's brokerage agreements and even listing agreements, we self-discover. Your questionnaire. It's literally a questionnaire because it's a ton of what? Questions. And when you guys are doing the strategy sessions, it's a ton of questions. They're self-discovering through this process. It's not us telling them what to do. They're discovering it on their own, and then we're just closing the deal, making it happen, okay? And then keep tracks, small and small talk. You gotta be relational. People gotta like you.
That's prospecting.
And processes, yeah. And then the words, names, use their name a lot, okay? And pretend, use words like, I'm gonna be with you throughout the whole process. I'll be with you. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna hold your hand. Like, all these things are very important. And it's important to be you. You don't want to act like someone you're not. You're going to sell the way Tony sells. You're going to sell the way Natalia sells. I'm going to sell the way I sell. You're going to sell the way you sell. Blah, blah, blah. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not because you want to be genuine. We are genuine people. I'm giving you knowledge. And there's always dialogue and there's always things to say and there's words to use, but that's words to use in your own way. You find the words that work for you. You use them. Okay. So let's pretend. I do that all the time. Let's pretend. Let's play real estate. Let's pretend. Let's pretend you buy this house. Blah, 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 blah. Let's pretend, and you go into that. That's a great, or fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my mom loves that one. So she'll talk. Is it fair enough? Like at the end, they're like, fair enough. I mean, that's just something. How can you not agree to fair enough? Right? And the more you get them to say yes, the more they agree. What questions do you have for me? That's the way you close. What questions do you have for me? If you say any questions, do they assume that they're supposed to have questions?
Yes.
But if you say, what questions do you have for me? Do you assume that you need to have a question with that question?
No.
Not as much. What questions do you have for me? Have we covered everything? Have we covered everything? Do you see how I'm doing that? Have we covered everything? Okay, so most people like you in your circumstance would grab this opportunity. Most people like you would blah, blah, blah. Okay, most people, because people want to be like people, right? All right. Are you sure? Like, if they're like, yeah, I guess, like they're unsure, you sure? What questions do you have for me? You want to get a strong yes. You want them to sign that buyer's brokerage agreement because they want to and they're excited about it, not because they're unsure and they're just doing it to do it. No, 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 no. Find out where they are, handle it, and get back to you. Now you sure? I'm sure, because you got to the bottom of it. Got it? Sometimes you got to go 3 to 5 deep for a lot of things, and especially motivation, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Be honest with me. How do you feel about that house? Be honest. You tell people to be honest, you're going to get to the truth. Be honest. Okay? No, let me be honest with you. No, because well, aren't you always honest? Honestly, I say honestly, I want to buy that house, and I'll tell them I want to buy that house because I don't care. You can buy any house.
And we tell them upfront, like.
Natalia sometimes she tells them too much. It's like Natalia's like,
Use that with people that you.
yes.
Use that, like the people I have business with, they're like friends, but I tell them upfront, like, listen, I'm gonna tell you something that I'm not supposed to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you. Because I just, but until they get in my face, like,
Yeah, we don't tell, let me be clear about that. She doesn't tell them not to move to a certain neighborhood because this or that. She doesn't steer them or anything that would not be legal. She just tells them like, honestly, out of the choices you have, like, this is what I would do. Right? Like, I would probably have this opportunity. It's not like, oh, don't move to that neighborhood because blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. I mean, nothing like that. Yeah,
because it's not normal and actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone like Erica. That was the one that go, but like if it's a home that is doesn't check the boxes and it smells something and something, I will tell them. I will.
Yeah, you don't know. when I'm-
Yeah.
So,
so, okay, so keep just going through this real quick. How would you feel if you were woke up and you opened up that home bot and you went up 58% over the next 2 years in equity? And you had all that money in your bank account, how would you feel? You know, in your net worth, I don't want to say bank account, in your net worth. How would you feel?
Good.
Would you be open-minded to the idea? I use this all the time and I will tell you, no one wants to be closed-minded, ever. So it's one of my favorite sayings. Would you be open-minded to just let me come by? I mean, I had a guy yesterday on the phone that he told me, Rich,
Yeah.
okay, and he told me that he has 2 realtors he's working with, and his one realtor already had, and I said, oh, did you sign something with them? And, oh, no, but basically she took him to see this house, and I said, oh, okay, would you be open-minded to the idea of me coming by and just looking at all your options? This is one of the largest purchases you're gonna make, and we have opportunities that other people just can't offer. Would you be open-minded to the idea of me coming by and having a discussion with you? You have nothing to lose, just me coming by. Sure, well, follow up with me. I said, check with your wife and I'll call you tomorrow. He texted me, this is the guy I'm gonna tell you about. He texted me today and said, I really think we're okay with, the options that we have, but we could really use finding a house. So if you find a house, call me. Meanwhile, yesterday he told me he's got 2 realtors helping him find a house. Okay, so he doesn't want me to come to list his house, but he wants me to, he wants me to help him find a house now, right?
So
So,
there's all these people working for free.
yeah, so now I said, and my response to him was, because that's just an objection. It's just an objection, it's a question, like he doesn't know. I'm just, oh, are you open-minded to me coming by? Because that's exactly what we do, but we gotta make sure the timing aligns, it's super important. So while I know you feel like finding your next home is the most important thing, and it is, I agree with him, and it is. There's a process method to the madness. Would you mind me coming by and talk to your wife and see if I can come by Saturday? I have 2 times available. That was by text message and my phone's on airplane mode, so we'll see if he responded. My point is you gotta go and you gotta go deeper and you gotta get in front of him. Keep going for the appointment. I'm not telling him over the phone what I can offer. I'm not telling him how that strategy would work because I'd never get to his house to tell him everything he needs to do before he can get it, if that's what he wants to do and sell for top dollar. You see what I'm saying? You don't give it all over the phone. Some people spill their way, they vomit their way out of deals. All right, how would you feel if, just imagine, when you're sitting on the deck and you're looking at the lake selling lake homes or the ocean selling ocean homes or intercoastal homes, you need to be, just imagine drinking your morning coffee here.
I'm imagine I wanna move.
Yeah. What?
I imagine I wanna move.
Yeah. Just imagine, right? So the good news is,
Yeah, I like that.
the good news is, because we all like to have good news. What makes you say that? That's the best way to go deeper. What makes you say that? Why do you think that? Because you need to understand at a deeper level. The first objection is never the objection, it's always deeper, right? And then just out of curiosity, what makes you say that? Just out of curiosity, what do you know about the market today? Before you go bleh and vomit all over them,
What have you heard?
what have you heard about the market today? Where are you at? You need to know where they are so that you can fill in the gaps. So we use it all the time. Just out of curiosity, what do you know? What do you know? If I can, will you? If I can do all the things you want me to, will you list with me today? If I can, will you? Get them to commit, right? The way I see it is you have 3 options. People like to have options. It's never my way or the highway. The way I see it, you have 3 options. You could buy house A and you could pay XYZ and you could blah, blah, blah. Or you could buy house B, blah, 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 or you could buy house D. Because C and F weren't even options, right? The way I see it, you have three options. You have a fantastic here that rated a 7.5. You have a fantastic here that you voted an 8, but you really don't like this one thing. Or you have blah, blah, blah that you might have to pay a little over list because they have multiple offers. They'll make a decision on one of those options. And then, those are the main things, you guys. Keep this, study it. Exactly what to say. A lot of these come out of that.
Yeah.
There's explanation behind that book on how we do it.
Mhm.
But these are things that should be rolling off your tongue like wildfire if you want to be a good salesperson. And we're not, like I said, people are divinely put in front of you and we're not salespeople, but we are. And you're in a you're in a skills-based market. We're not in an order-taking market. You cannot expect people to just say, I want to go buy this house, write the offer for me today, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not going to work like that. You're going to have to talk people off the ledge. You're going to have to explain that this is the best decision for them, that they should be buying a home. You have to educate people because they don't know, right? So you have to get used to saying these words and you have to be good at that because it is truly what the best. If Terry would have been scared, he wouldn't have had 58% equity increase over the last 4 years. Okay, that's a big deal. So anyway, in conclusion, this is the overview of what we're going to cover in all of our training sessions. We're going to break it down and go deeper into things. Right now we were basically overall, this class was basically like overall of who we are as a team, who we are as a company, Keller Williams, and what values you have. Do you guys feel like you're a part of a very valuable operation?
Yes.
Okay, do you feel good about what you have to offer and how you can help people? Okay, so, it's a very, it's a very unique thing that we offer all this. So tomorrow we're gonna go deeper in the next training. We're gonna go deeper with sealing the deal with a one-step strategy session. So these are gonna be the easier appointments that instead of just, you pretty much have them done, but you have to get them to sign their BBA first, right? So we gotta meet them at the office
And
and do the paperwork and go over the paperwork and answer any questions they have. So tomorrow is gonna be the easier, and we're gonna go through this and just kind of go through it, how we would go through with an easier client. And then the Friday, we're gonna go over it with someone who barely wants to meet with you, but they can't.
okay.
Okay,
Sure.
all right. Have a great night, you guys. Okay.
Bye.
Uh-huh. Bye, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.